players that very rarely get there, if ever get there. So yeah, it's a big deal for every single player. And if you're a Leicester player, you're thinking, how many opportunities will I get? This is one of the big ones, and you're within touching distance of Wembley. Don't take that for granted. It's a big deal.
It's one of the stats that always stands out when we talk about FA Cup football. 31 of the last 32 finals has featured one of Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, Liverpool and Manchester City. Odds on that happens again. Those teams have won it 28 times between them out of the last 32. The only teams to interrupt that run, Everton, Portsmouth, Wigan and Leicester 3 years ago. So championship leaders Leicester in change kit, which is quite close to Chelsea's blue. It's a black kit with light blue trim, but it's
I'm amazed that they're allowing that. Yeah. I am absolutely stunned, because I've noticed it, you've noticed it, and everyone's just nodding, going, yeah, look, it's not exactly the same. There's a light blue stripe across it, but if you're playing and you look up quickly and you see the two players, they're not miles away from each other, and it won't be great for TV either. However, it's fine for radio.
It is okay for us. We're underway on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, and Leicester City making a very confident start. Harry Winks, former Tottenham man, driving forward with the ball. They took kick-off there. It came back to their captain, Hamza Chowdhury, and he and Harry Winks were about 2 yards apart, and they knocked 4 passes between each other to say, is anyone going to come and tackle us? Someone came to them, and then they played out of it.
Yeah, again, real confidence. And why wouldn't you be the top of your league? People always, don't take that for granted. If you're the top of your league, you've generally had a good season. So even though there's been that little bit of blip of late, they are playing with good confidence.
Pat Nevin played in an FA Cup final for Everton in 1989. These two teams today playing for a place in the last 4 this season, the semi-final draw. You'll hear on 5 Live later on. Leicester's early attack is through Mavididi down the left-hand side. Challenge on him from Malo Gusto, wins the tackle, and it goes behind for a Leicester corner. Exactly a minute played. Chelsea 0, Leicester 0.
And we were talking with the lads in the studio about Gusto before the game. He was 2 yards behind him and he got back. Superb defending.
So I'll run you through the two teams in a second. Let's see what Leicester can do with the corner. Leicester attacking the Matthew Harding stand away to our right at Stamford Bridge. They go low to the corner of the box. Dewsbury Hall takes a touch, floats across to the far post. Winks volleys it down into the ground and the ball spins away and goes a good 7-8 yards wide. And that'll be a goal kick to Chelsea. So Robert Sanchez in goal for Chelsea. Only a second appearance in 20 games for him, because Georgia Petrovic is the regular starting keeper. Back 4 of Malo Gusto, Axel Disasi, Trevor Chalobah making his 4th consecutive start as Chelsea start to play out here. And Mark Cucurella, having missed 19 games, makes his 2nd consecutive start at left-back. Chelsea have lost it in the left-back position. So Leicester attacking down the right-hand side. Fatawu to Ndidi. Chowdhury almost hustled out of possession by Conor Gallagher, doing his job in the Chelsea midfield. And Leicester come back into their own half, and Harry Winks receives the ball from his Polish goalkeeper, Jakub Stolarczyk, who's in shades of pink inside his own penalty area, leans back on the half volley, clears a high spinning ball into the air, nodded forward by Caicedo, and then Harry Winks there again, flicks it on down the left. Pat?
Yeah, I think looking at Chelsea, they've started very positively. We'll get back to that in a moment.
Yeah, this looks positive. Cole Palmer on the right-hand side, trying to work it onto the left foot. Good defending from Vestergaard, knew where he was going there, sticks a leg out and knocks it behind for a corner. Pat?
Yeah, I was just talking about Chelsea, almost lined up as an old-school 4-2-4. 4 attackers on the pitch there. Sterling's up, Mudryk's up, Jackson's up, Palmer's up. I think we'll all interchange a little bit, so they're really going for it.
Corner low to the edge of the box. Sterling plays it back to Palmer. High curling cross to the far post. No chances taken at the back post there by Callum Doyle. 20-year-old Callum Doyle starting at left back for Leicester in this cup tie. On loan from Manchester City. Nods it behind for another corner.
Do you know, we were talking about the strips and what it looks like for the fans, the other players, and on TV.
Yeah.
That's a stinker for the referee. If you see a hand going up and touching a ball in the box there, it's going to be so hard to call.
Chelsea corner. Mudryk takes into the near post. Palmer's flick. Ball lobs up. Hits the far post. And Leicester managed to hack it away to the edge of the box. One touch on the edge of the area from Fatawu. He spins and volleys it clear.
I don't know if you watched the rather brilliant corner kick taken by Kevin De Bruyne.
Yes.
Near post. Not dissimilar in what they were trying to do, that near post. Palmer gets in that area. I'm sure that was absolutely deliberate. He's walked to that near post, it's low, and he's flicked it over with his heel, and it's hit the post. So it was very, very simple.
Been an outrageous goal.
I think it was deliberate.
Yeah, I agree, Pat. I agree. On the back heel volley, impudently just sticks a leg out, and the way it's going for him this season, looped up over the keeper and just grazed the bottom of the post. The back of Leicester's shirts have the white numbers on. The front of them are actually more helpful because the light blue sash is quite thick, diagonally cut across the front of the shirt. You can tell this is really troubling me and Pat in the first 5 minutes of this game. Chelsea come forward. Sterling scoops a pass up in the air, and Ndidi is back to intercept. Vestergaard rolls a pass to Winks. Winks quickly to Ndidi to the right, and Leicester have a chance to attack with Fatawu. Kukureya backs off. Fatawu lining up a shot on the edge of the area. Showed too much of it to Kukureya. Strong challenge. Chelsea have won it, and they are able to play inside their own half.
You know, again, they look very good in the break. Lots and lots of pace, particularly in the wide areas, Leicester. And as I say, no lack of confidence when they break forward. Just a moment there. Kukureya is limping. He didn't go and attack the ball and go straight to his winger, and eventually made the tackle inside the box. That's not what you do. You get outside the box and make the tackle. However, he made it well.
Talking about kick clashes, our producer Rob Notham's just reminded me Friday night here in the WSL kick-off delayed because Arsenal arrived with the wrong socks, didn't they? So they are used to it here at Stamford Bridge. Kukureya is easily able to intercept that pass from Fatawu. Long hair flowing behind him as ever. Clears with his left foot. The ball bangs Mudryk on the back of the head, and it rolls to Nicholas Jackson. Jackson just holds off Chowdhury. Chowdhury forces him back into his own half. Is that sunshine I spot spreading across the pitch at Stamford Bridge? Disasi brings it forward. Wide to the right to Gusto. Gusto's ball looking for Palmer, intercepted, and it goes out for a throw. So Robert Sanchez in goal. Gusto, Disasi, Chalobah, Kukureya. I did get halfway through that. 4-2-4, we're saying. Caicedo and Gallagher, the two in central midfield. Palmer, Sterling, Mudryk and Nicholas Jackson. Leicester have Stolarczyk in goal. Jamie Vardy not available today, not involved today. Hamza Chowdhury, Wout Faes, Yannick Vestergaard and 20-year-old Callum Doyle, the back four. Winks and Ndidi and Dewsbury Hall, and then Fatawu and Mavididi wide, with the Zambian striker Patson Daka, who's not played a massive amount of football this season, but when he has been on the field, he has been scoring goals, 7 in 15 appearances. Chelsea all in blue, playing from right to left, and Disasi on the ball for them inside his own half, across to Chalobah, who's an imposing figure at centre-back for Chelsea. Conor Gallagher, hair tied tightly back, little 1-2 with Cole Palmer. Gallagher, low ball across the Chelsea half to Chalobah, carefully controls it. Caicedo, 1-2 with him, across it goes to Disasi. Patient possession from Chelsea. Now Gusto in his luminous boots, in from the right, back to Gallagher, central position, just prods a little pass forward to Sterling. Sterling is able to turn on the ball, but just comes back into his own half again to Disasi. Now he sees the runner on the right from Gusto. Chipped pass into space, bounces twice. Gusto can't catch it, and it goes behind for a goal kick. Pat Nevin.
That ball is on all day long. Time and again, Palmer's intelligent. He just drags the full back inside. And Gusto, we're talking to Julien Laurent before the game about that. He was talking to Gusto, was talking to Thierry Henry, who's saying go. Well, he's been listening, because he is just hammering forward every time there, and he's not being followed by his Mavididi. So I think that'll be on all day. A lot of Chelsea fans spotted that Gallagher had the chance to play that ball just a minute before, and he didn't play it. Leicester have got to do something about that, or else they'll be in trouble.
Pat, you're a man who loves your golf. It's the little lob wedge, isn't it? And it was one there that just sort of came out of the rough a bit heavy and spun on and ran through the green, and Gusto couldn't quite get there.
It wasn't the best one, but there are plenty of players that have seen that ball on, and as I speak,
it's on again.
It's on again.
Gallagher doesn't play it again. He goes low to his right-hand side. Talking golf, final round of the Players tonight. Available to listen to on Radio 5 Sports Extra. It will follow commentary of the women's final in the Indian Wells tennis. Iga Swiatek against Maria Sakkari. Palmer's layoff to Gallagher. Gallagher turns away from Winks. Ball is on again as Pat Nevin is pointing high up from our commentary position in the East Stand. Gusto makes another run. This one goes more centrally, chipped into the path of Jackson. That just bounces away from him, and Stolarczyk is able to catch it.
Yeah, and Chelsea have got lots and lots of pace. Interesting to look at, nearly won it high up the pitch. I was just going to mention the fact that just when you see body language as the players changing, look at Jackson just now. Is that the same guy? At the start of the season, he had no belief whatsoever. Now he's confident, his chest's out, he's just shoving people off the ball, he's making great runs. What a difference a couple of goals make.
And Didi, good touch inside the Chelsea half, curling ball away to the left, looking for Didi, headed away. Cole Palmer misjudges the bounce and jumps underneath the ball. Winks is everywhere for Leicester. Here's Didi, ball at his feet, running at the Chelsea defenders, corner of their penalty area. Back it comes to Winks, very capable with either foot, just slides a little pass down the left. Dewsbury Hall's cross right across the face of goal, beyond Robert Sanchez, happy to let it go, and it goes behind for a goal kick.
Again, decent position there. It all seems to be happening on that far side. On the left-hand side, Leicester look pretty strong, but that's because that man that we're talking about, Gusto, keeps on flying forward, so there are one or two gaps behind when he goes there. A lot of action coming from there. That was a decent ball in there, but maybe just a little bit too much height there, but the goalkeeper thinking about it.
Robert Sanchez, all in yellow, light yellow for Chelsea, long clearance downfield, awkward one for Chowdhury to deal with, heads it forward, and Wout Faes very calmly nods it back over Chowdhury's head into the Leicester penalty area, where it's collected by Stolarczyk.
It's intriguing to know what Chelsea are doing. They've got either Mudryk alongside Jackson or Sterling alongside Jackson. They're switching, but Palmer always stays out wide. Now, Palmer's been great in the wide right area quite a lot, but eventually you probably want to see him, even if you're an England fan, eventually playing as a 10. So we shall see if he moves in at some point, but it shows you the creativity that Chelsea have got, if only they can get a song out of each of them. Wonderful
seeing for England in the next couple of games. Saturday night, 7 o'clock kickoff, commentary on 5 Live of England-Brazil. That's the first of the 2 friendlies in the international window. They'll also play Belgium. Big game on Thursday night on 5 Live. We're in Cardiff for the Euro 2024 playoff semi-final. Wales at home against Finland. If they win it, they'll have a game the following Tuesday in the final to try and qualify for the tournament against Poland or Estonia. Early goal in the WSL. This is Brighton against Manchester City. Hamish Marshall.
Manchester City have been on top, and they've taken the lead with their real first shot on goal. It was Jess Park that set up Lauren Hemp, and the goalkeeper Bagley won't be very happy to see that again. The ball got through her. Manchester City lead Brighton by 1-0.
Chasing leaders Chelsea at the top of the table. While we were listening to Hamish, a little promising move developed for Chelsea. Sterling tried to thread a pass to the right, it was intercepted. Now Chelsea have made a foul, conceded a free kick, and Leicester will have a chance to clear their line. So 11.5 minutes in, Pat Nevin, Chelsea 0, Leicester 0.
Yeah, and we didn't even have to mention who Sterling was trying to play the ball through to, because it's always Gusto. Keeps on making that same run, and it's always on, but on this occasion he couldn't be found. It's a really open game. I mean, I would say Chelsea are slightly sharing it, but there's very, very little in it, and certainly Leicester haven't come here half asleep. They haven't come here thinking, we're massive underdogs. They've got real belief when they're on the ball.
Chowdhury playing right back, but as so many right backs do, pops up in midfield for Leicester. They've worked it to Fatawu on a diagonal run into the Chelsea penalty area, running across the face of the box. Caicedo steps in, makes the tackle. The ball rolls to the feet of Gallagher. Whitey plays it to Palmer. Palmer just casually, languidly strokes it into the path of Jackson. Vestergaard backs off and Jackson runs at him, takes him on the outside. He's beaten him. Now the cross comes in. Cucurella can't miss, and Chelsea lead Leicester by 1-0. They made that look very, very easy indeed. Nicholas Jackson had the beating of Vestergaard, went round him, rolled it across the face of goal, and Mark Cucurella scores his first ever goal for Chelsea, and they lead in the quarter-final. Chelsea 1, Leicester 0.
Well, we mentioned the right-hand side, Jackson went down there, but he did it all on his own there. When he got Vestergaard on his own 1-on-1, it's a complete no contest in terms of pace, a total no contest. And we mentioned a few minutes ago about the confidence and belief in Nicholas Jackson, and it was effortless the way it went by him. It's as if, this is a bit easy for me, I'll just fly past him. Did so, and it was an easiest pass in the back to the post. And we have seen some stinking misses this weekend, but there is no way Cucurella was missing that one.
He did make sure he really concentrated on the finish, but he is 3 yards out. He's just to the left-hand side of the post. Give me it, he says. I'll stick this away. And into the back of the net it goes. You know the one that reminds me of a little bit, Pat, and he's actually put a better finish on it than the one I'm about to talk about. Whenever you go to the Aston Villa press room, there's the close-up shot of Peter Widd scoring early on in the European Cup final when he's about 3 yards out, and he very nearly missed that, didn't he? In off the post, do you remember?
Yeah, but he had an excuse then. You just have bobbly pitches.
The pitch was
terrible. You have no excuse now.
No, you don't.
You're playing billiard tables out there. But certainly it's a really good piece of play there by Chelsea. But I think both Faes and Vestergaard are acutely aware of this. They know that for pure pace, they're not going to get near Jackson, and Jackson right now, he knows that too.
47th Chelsea appearance for Mark Cucurella, as we were saying, just back from injury and on the score sheet for the very first time. Now some defending to do, chasing up to the halfway line. Fatawu holds off Cucurella. The ball is played back to the Belgian Wout Faes, who passes calmly across to Vestergaard, who was beaten for pace quite easily by Jackson for that goal, and Vestergaard takes his time across to Faes into the feet of Chowdhury, under pressure from Mudryk. Wide it goes to Ndidi. Gallagher in with a tackle. Leicester have it again. Chowdhury forward to Winks. Forward runners start to set off into the Chelsea half. Fatawu runs away from Gallagher. Cucurella, quick pass here to Mudryk. Clever nutmeg on Winks, and Mudryk is away. Turns the afterburners on, speeding forward, slides it through. Great ball, but keeper Stolarczyk is able to come sliding out and get it just in time for Leicester.
We're talking beforehand about the little signs that we're beginning to see from Mudryk. That was one of them there, wasn't it? That was a nutmeg right you're halfway through the half, and then he sped away. You described it perfectly about the afterburners there. Shame the pass at the end wasn't perfect too.
Here's Fatawu on the right, curling ball with his left foot high towards the dead ball line. Mavididi tries to do his best with it, can only head it behind for a goal kick. One game in the Premier League today. Commentary over on Sports Extra. Once we're done here, commentary will switch to 5 Live. It's West Ham against Aston Villa. It kicks off at 2 o'clock. Suhail Sahi has the team news.
Yes, I do, Alistair. David Moyes makes 2 changes to his Europa League 11. Areola returns in goals, replacing Fabianski. And Emerson, he's back after recovering from a groin injury. There's 4 changes for Aston Villa, with the big miss their captain John McGinn, who begins a 3-match ban after his red card last Sunday, which you witnessed, Alistair.
Yes, did indeed. Rash challenge from John McGinn. Pat Nevin won't want him making any of those at the Euros this summer. Not involved for Villa today. He'll be a big miss.
I think the word rash has been kind. Totally stupid. Come on, John, you're better than that.
Super John McGinn. Gusto and Palmer exchange passes. Palmer comes trotting back towards the halfway line. Gets on the ball for Chelsea. Walking pace. Back to Disasi. Here's Chalobah. Chalobah with his right foot. Just side foots it across to Disasi again. So 16 minutes gone. 12:45 kick-off on 5 Live and BBC Sounds today. Game is available to watch on BBC One as well. I can see the commentary team with Jonathan Pearce and Martin Keown away to our right-hand side. Martin Keown, actually, Pat, was talking to me ahead of the game about change of pace, about it's one thing dealing with Mudryk's pace when he's at full charge, and you can see him coming. Sanchez caught in possession inside his own box, challenge from Daka, and it's gone behind for a goal kick. Sanchez just taking too long with the ball, but it will be Chelsea's ball again. But Martin was making the point, Pat, about when someone stops and you stop and then goes again from that sort of starting position with the pace. That's what's so difficult to deal with.
Yeah, but Martin was able to deal with that as a player because he was stupidly quick himself. Yeah. But he understands the importance of pace, and he's right about that, and that's what certainly Jackson's got.
Oh, Jackson to Sterling, another chance. It gets away from Sterling, comes back to Mudryk. The shot hits Sterling and bounces out of the Leicester penalty area. Chances for Chelsea there. They've got the ball again with Cucurella. Into the penalty area he goes, passed on to Jackson. Jackson wasn't quite expecting that. Indeed, he tackles him as Jackson gets the ball caught between his feet. Corner for Chelsea.
I know it's really early days, but this could get away from Leicester. It really could. And the way Chelsea are playing just now, they're playing the 4 up. There's no change from Leicester. They're playing man-to-man against those 4 players. Problem is, every one of those 4 players for Chelsea are probably quicker than the opponent they're playing against. So you don't want to do that when you're man for man.
Corner taken by Mudryk. Low ball to Sterling. Corner of the Leicester penalty area. Mudryk with his shiny blonde swept back hair plays back to Sterling, across to Gusto, 35 yards out. Time to try and pick out a teammate in the middle. Low scuffed cross gets blocked on the edge of the area and goes behind for another Chelsea corner.
You can feel a swagger about Chelsea. It's a swagger that they've never had actually in the last couple of years, you know, since new management, etc., this new team being put together. you're beginning to see a slight swagger that I haven't seen before, and that's a good thing.
Cole Palmer with the corner from the right, in-swinger to the near post. Dewsbury Hall with the header, and referee Andy Madley spotted an infringement in the penalty area and has given a free kick to Leicester, who beat Chelsea in that FA Cup final 3 years ago. Yuri Tielemans with a very special Wembley strike. Since then have played Chelsea 5 times and not beaten them, so won the crucial one. Next 5 they've lost 4 and drawn 1. Came here last season in their relegation season, right at the start of the season under Brendan Rodgers, and lost by 2-1, and they trail Chelsea by 1-0 so far today. Wout Faes floated long ball down the inside right channel, meant for Ndidi, way beyond Ndidi, and Sanchez casually comes across to the edge of the box, scoops it up one-handed and rolls it out to Chalobah.
Do you know, he's come in, he's been actually kept out very, very well from the team. You know, he's come in there getting a little chance here, Sanchez, and that was nearly a big mistake he had a few moments ago.
Jackson's confidence showing again, controlled the ball well, very nearly released Cole Palmer. The rebound from the tackle on Palmer runs to Jackson, and Jackson goes all the way back to his goalkeeper.
And had he played that pass back to his goalkeeper 3 months ago, he would have been roundly booed at Chelsea.
Exactly.
However, at the moment, the fans, and you have to remember, you know, it is only a few months ago that everyone was groaning and moaning at his every touch, and his confidence was completely shot at that point. Yet you look at him now, it's just, as I say, he's one of those players out there for Chelsea who is swaggering through this game.
Chelsea 1, Leicester 0. 20 minutes played. BBC Radio 5 Live. BBC Sounds, if you're on the move this Sunday and you want to listen to your sport, BBC Sounds app is the place to go where you can get us. And Radio 5 Sports Extra, which has loads of different sport available for you this afternoon, starting with West Ham Villa in full at 2. Here's Conor Gallagher just inside his own half, curling ball, looking for the run of Cucurella. Cucurella lets it run, and Chowdhury steps in and knocks it out for a throw. Cucurella takes that quickly, thrown to Sterling, just touches the ball back to Gallagher, puts his body into that low ball which he whips across the halfway line. Disasi now looking for that floated pass down the right, which is on. Is Gusto going to catch this one? He is, just bobbles the cross into the penalty area. Jackson's there, takes a touch, flicks it back to Palmer. Palmer's got his back to goal and he's being forced away from the penalty area. He's got such an elegant running style, Cole Palmer, all sort of long limbs, and looks very fluid and smooth. Side-footed ball to Mudryk, who suddenly darts into space. Cross from him, aimed at Jackson, headed away, comes out to the edge of the box. Cucurella knocks it to his right. Gallagher couldn't quite control it. Chance for Leicester to bring it away with Dewsbury Hall. He goes sprinting up to the halfway line. Good dummy and keeps the ball well here. Then goes down inside the Chelsea half and does get the decision. Free kick for Leicester. Some
lovely little dummies there. He wasn't getting a lot of help, Dewsbury Hall. 3 players around him. Eventually sort of wins the foul. The way he went down was slightly odd. I'm not 100% sure it was a foul, but he deserves it just purely for the skill. He runs into, I think he runs into the player. I think he's quite lucky he actually gets a foul from that.
He's trying to hit the brakes, isn't he, Pat, to stop and change direction, slips, and then just sort of...
I think he was running out of juice. We're going to keep on going and run out of gas as much as hitting the brakes. But they got the free kick and it's held the ball up, and they need to get a little bit of possession. That's the problem at the moment for Leicester. They haven't really had much possession in the last 10 minutes or so. They need to somehow do that.
Running out of Dewsbury Hall. Here's Dewsbury Hall, cross with the left foot. Oh, Sanchez dives and Cucurella saves him at the back post, heads it away, and that'll be a Leicester corner for Tawu, waiting just in case there wasn't anyone there to clear for Chelsea to try and stick it away.
He's trying too hard, Sanchez, isn't he, in the goal there? I mean, he's trying to play out when it's not on. He's trying to dive out for balls that are not there to go and be won. But that's what happens when you're a goalkeeper and you're out of a team you want to show, and he's over trying.
Midway through the first half, it's the voice of Pat Nevin here at Stamford Bridge. Corner for Leicester, comes in at real pace, drops on the edge of the 6-yard box, and Chelsea player is there first. It's Chalobah to sweep it away with his right foot. Only Leicester player back on the halfway line is Chowdhury, number 17 on his back, big mop of frizzy hair on top of his head. Plays the pass forward here, and then Leicester go back to Yannick Vestergaard, Great Dane inside his own half. 1-2 with Winks, 1-2 again. Winks turns, looks for an option, has to come back to Faes. Faes did well there, Jackson closing him down, got his pass away. Winks prompting the run forward from Mabadidi. Chelsea clear, but only as far as Winks, and now Ndidi low to his right finds Fatawu. Cucurella backs off, cross into the far post, stretching header just over the bar from Patson Daka. Leicester not too far away.
easily the best moment of the game so far. I mean, they kept on pushing there, but Chelsea are playing quite open just now, as I say. You know, they've got 4 men up front there, won the ball in midfield, then broke. Really neat ball at the back post. Defenders hate that one, curling in towards the back post. And Daka probably up half an inch too soon, or half a second too soon there, puts it by the post. And it's a real shame that, because they really needed a little opportunity to put a lot of pressure on the keeper. And the ball's on again.
Beautiful measured pass from Cole Palmer, finds Gusto on the right, low ball, Mudrik's missed it, runs to Sterling. Sterling tries to shoot, knocked off his feet, penalty for Chelsea. Sterling had already had an air shot, but as he hit the shot, I think it's Fatawu comes rushing back in, knocks him over, and at the moment, Pat, it's been given as a penalty. You're saying what?
Well, I didn't think it was a penalty. I thought it was a clean tackle. Now, there might have been some contact, but he gets the ball, I thought, quite clean. Coming from an unusual angle. Now, we've got a replay here. I mean, we saw one of these last night in Match of the Day, you know, the first few minutes. Palmer was slow. I think it comes in, well, again, it's hard to see from this angle. We have lots of looks at it. This is the angle it's going to tell us. Penalty. Well done, referee. Spotted it right.
Yeah, it did look, Pat, to the naked eye,
as if he
like
got the ball.
Fatawu had got a touch, particularly the way that the ball spun off after he came in and made the challenge. But he missed it, he got Sterling. Sterling missed the ball, and Sterling wants the penalty as well. As soon as the penalty was given, Sterling was up. Something's been chucked out from the lower tier of the shed end there in front of the penalty spot. Hamza Chowdhury, actually, credit to the Leicester captain, steps in very quickly and makes sure that is thrown off the field. So Chelsea lead Leicester by 1-0. Raheem Sterling, FA Cup winner with Manchester City in 2019, has won the penalty and is now going to take the penalty to give Chelsea a 2-goal advantage. The man standing in his way, 23-year-old Pole Jakub Stolarczyk. Whistle blows. Sterling jogs on the spot, right-footed, easily so with the legs. Rebound loose inside the Chelsea penalty area. That's a foul by Conor Gallagher. That was not a good penalty from Raheem Sterling. Stolarczyk dived to his right, but his trailing legs struck the ball that was heading towards the sort of rough area of the middle of the goal. Not convincing, Pat Nevin.
Right. Well, two things. My eyebrows disappeared off the top of my head when Sterling went up to take it. Why no Cole Palmer? Cole Palmer's the obvious one to take it just now. His penalty's been great recently. But on top of that, Sterling's had 2 golden opportunities in this game so far, and he's been hesitant with both of them. And you just think, look, Palmer's the man. Get this game sorted if you're Chelsea. Get it done and out of the way. Here's your penalty kick taker. Gives it to Raheem Sterling, and not the best.
So, missed penalty for Chelsea, saved by Stolarczyk. Chelsea 1, Leicester 0. Hamish Marshall seen another goal in the game between Brighton and Manchester City in the WSL. We'll head there in a second. Conor Gallagher's long ball won't find Nicholas Jackson coming. Hamish.
Yes, a second goal for Manchester City, and it's been coming, to be honest. Ball was crossed from the left-hand side, and Mary Fowler was able to knock it in from 6 yards out. Couple of minutes to half-time. Brighton 0, Manchester City 2.
So we've got just under 20 minutes until half-time here, and Pat was saying 10 minutes or so ago that it could get a little bit tricky and ugly for Leicester this afternoon. They've been given a massive reprieve there. But you're right, Pat. I mean, this is an FA Cup quarter-final. Cole Palmer has been perfect from the penalty spot this season for Chelsea, hasn't he?
I just couldn't understand why Raheem Sterling was walking up to take that. It's not as if, you know, Cole Palmer's lacking in any confidence. They'll have their reasons. I do hope it's not a case of there's an agreement, if you win the penalty, you get to take the penalty. It should be the best penalty kick taker takes the penalty. It's a team game.
Team game, professional sport, playing for a place in the FA Cup semi-finals, and that was a weak penalty by Raheem Sterling. Fatawu goes down too easily. He's not going to get a free kick for that. The ball is back with Robert Sanchez. Match of the day 2 tonight. A short programme, 1 Premier League game, 10:30 BBC One. FA Cup highlights follow at 5 to 11 on BBC One. So you'll be able to watch those back to back. Chelsea leading Leicester by 1-0 here. Liverpool 1, West Ham 0 is a half-time score in the WSL. Early stages of the second half, Manchester United's women lead Bristol City by 1-0. And as Hamish was telling us, Manchester City 2-0 up away to Brighton. The ball is on again down the right every time. Palmer finds Gusto. Gusto driving run. Winks can't catch him. Gusto still going. Now the cross comes in looking for Sterling, cleared away. And Leicester are able to play out. And here's Dewsbury Hall. Dewsbury Hall on the ball inside his own half. Passes to his left. Leicester continue to come down the left. Dewsbury Hall receives it again. Run made forward by Doyle, the left back. Mavididi curls a pass over to Fatawu, trying to trick onto his left foot, nearly finds Ndidi with the cutback. Chelsea able to clear Pat.
Yeah, but that penalty kick saved. I mean, that may well give a real lift to Leicester just now. Just moments before that, Daka had that chance at the back post with a header. He couldn't quite get it on target. But sometimes little moments like this can change the attitude of the players. Maybe it'll shake the Chelsea players a little bit. They think probably that this game should be beyond Leicester already. The chances they have had, the situations that have developed, particularly down that right-hand side. So, I mean, Leicester fans, do not give up yet.
WSL table, if Manchester City win that game away to Brighton, as Hamish has been telling us, 2-0 up at the moment, they move level on points with Chelsea at the top, having played the same number of games. Both will be on 40, and Arsenal having lost here on Friday night on 34 points. West Ham Villa, full commentary on that in the Premier League. It kicks off at 2 o'clock, is on Radio 5 Sports Extra. Doyle stabs the ball forward to Dewsbury Hall inside his own half, gets away from Gusto, good use of the body again, holds off another challenge, still going down to the byline, now stands the ball up to the far post. Cucurella is there defending again and nods it behind for a corner.
He's been fabulous, he's been absolutely fabulous. We talked about him again before the game, Dewsbury Hall. His ability, his skill in the ball, his close control, really, really special, and he's against good defenders there, and he's taking sometimes 2, sometimes 3 out of the game with his tricks and his skills, but when he gets to the byline, he puts it exactly where it should be. Problem is, the centre forward isn't exactly where it should be.
15 minutes to play in this first half. FA Cup quarter-final, BBC Radio 5 Live. Chelsea leading 1-0. Leicester's corner. Sanchez stretches again, gets nowhere near it. Header goes wide, and that is going to be another corner, I think, for Leicester.
I just wonder if he's taken one of the Leicester players out there. I don't think he punched him, but once again, Sanchez is holding his head there. But to be fair, that's 3 mistakes already, and he's come back in, he's come for 2 balls that he's completely missed, and he's been caught with the ball at his feet in the deck, and it's tough for goalkeepers. They want to play every week, they want to be sharp every week. Come out to get the ball, he's completely missed it, and yeah, he's whacked into his opponent there.
I think it's Vestergaard, isn't it, who he's knocked over.
I mean, that's a real whack, that.
Yeah, Sanchez is groggily getting to his feet. Vestergaard is back on his feet. But you can see also, Pat, the panic it's spreading in the Chelsea defence every time a ball comes in.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting into good positions. The problem they've got is Mavididi over on that far side there. Look, he's certainly got some skills in our set, but his game awareness is nowhere near good enough at this level against the likes of Gusto and Cole Palmer, who are basically trashing him over there. I mean, his left back has been Doyle's been left on his own all the time. But you think, okay, so if you're cheating and you're not going back, you're providing something going forward. Actually, he's not. The person who's providing it is the same guy all the time. It's Dewsbury Hall. And he can't run the whole thing, Dewsbury Hall. He can't create everything right, left, and score the goals as well. He needs a little bit of help from his other players.
Right, Robert Sanchez seems to be okay. 2 of the Chelsea medical staff have checked him. He's given them the nod. They've gone through the concussion protocols, and he will continue. Dundee Rangers postponed in the Scottish Premiership today, by the way, if you hadn't heard that news. It was meant to be kicking off at midday, but the game hasn't been able to go ahead, so Celtic stay on top of the table, lead Rangers by a point. Rangers have the game in hand, and they'll be playing each other quite soon at Ibrox, early April, I think, after the international break.
We'll be
got a feeling you might be there, Pat.
Well, I might be too.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. Very, very interesting title race up in Scotland this season.
No, Rangers have really put a real challenge together this time, and when they've just gone out of Europe against Benfica there, it was a bit of a shame for them, but certainly domestically, since Clement's come on, they've been very special.
Winks looking for a ball through the middle. Dewsbury Hall gives him the thumbs up because he's saying it was on. Winks put quite a lot on the pass, and Dewsbury Hall couldn't quite get there in time, so it went all the way through to Sanchez. He's played it out short to Chalobah, who's come back to Sanchez. Decent first touch from the Chelsea keeper. FA Cup semi-finalist last season, of course, with Brighton. They lost to Manchester United in a heartbreaking penalty shootout. Caicedo of Chelsea played in that game too. Fast finds Ndidi. Ndidi looking for the ball through the middle. It's cut out, and here come Chelsea. Now Mudryk will fancy this. starts his run from the halfway line. Cole Palmer to his right, 2 in the middle. Palmer makes a little run. Mudrik's going to hit a shot towards the near post, palmed away by Stolarczyk. Mudrik to the rebound, tackled on the edge of the box. Cucurella comes in with a challenge, beats Winks to the ball. It falls to the feet of Caicedo, long way out, gets underneath the shot and blasts it way over the bar. Goal kick for Leicester. Chelsea 1, Leicester 0.
Yeah, really good break there. You know, when Chelsea break, it's always 4-4. Consistently, every single time it's 4-4. And if it is that situation, you should always end up with a shot on target. You really should. And you should. Good players should be able to manipulate that situation. Well, Mudryk did get a shot away there. It went out of Caicedo, and by the time he tried to have a shot from 30 yards, Chelsea fans had already started looking away because they're not believing Caicedo's going to score many there.
Step over from Dewsbury Hall from the pass out from the back. Didn't have a Leicester teammate behind him, so Chelsea have it. Here's Caicedo, further out, not going to try a shot from there. Plays across to Conor Gallagher, another one named in Gareth Southgate's England squad for the upcoming friendly. Sterling runs into the challenge of Wout Faes. It suddenly becomes a tussle for the ball. Faes wins a header. Winks wins the next header, and then Caicedo jumps into the back of him, knocks him over, challenging for the ball in the air. It'll be a free kick to Leicester. Half-time in the WSL. Brighton against Manchester City. Hamish Marshall.
City on course for a 10th successive win. The lead 2-0. Their task now is surely to keep scoring to reduce Chelsea's goal difference advantage at the top. Lauren Hemp and Mary Fowler have the first half goals, in which been pretty much one-way traffic. Brighton 0, Manchester City 2.
Manchester City's men into the FA Cup semi-finals after the win over Newcastle yesterday. Coventry through as well, only a second ever semi-final for them. Last one back in 1987. They went all the way and won the FA Cup. Chelsea leading Leicester 1-0 here in this quarter-final, and Manchester United-Liverpool kicks off at 3:30 this afternoon. John Murray and Michael Brown there for us. They will provide the updates. 5 Live Sport goes through until 5 o'clock, and then 2 hours of 6:06, and you'll hear the FA Cup semi-final draw during that show as well. Cucurella is the goal scorer for Chelsea, fires a pass back to Chalobah, controls it well, dinks it forward to Cucurella, comes back to his goalkeeper Robert Sanchez. Are you enjoying what you're seeing today, Pat?
Do you know, it's quite an open game, isn't it? And I think a lot of that is down to the fact that Pochettino has put out a team here that's, you know, very, very attack-minded. And he just said to the 4 guys up front, just go for it, keep on going. Well, I say 4, I think we need to add Gusto into that. He's spending as much time in the forward line as he is in the back.
3-2-5 potentially. Cole Palmer's tackled wide on the right. Chelsea have won it back. Here's Palmer battling for the ball. Doyle eventually gets the better of him, and Doyle sweeps a pass forward with his left foot. Now Leicester have looked dangerous when Dewsbury Hall gets it on the left. Fizzes a pass across field. Good ball to Fatawu, the Ghanaian on loan from Sporting Lisbon. Runs into trouble. Blocked by Mudryk. Ball runs to Sterling. Sterling. Palmer slips as he made a little run in field, but he's managed to get to his feet, and Sterling's found him with the pass, and now Palmer's running diagonally from right to left across the Leicester half. Sweet curling ball, controlled on the thighs by Nicholas Jackson, who then just with the palms of his hands points them downwards and just says, all right, let's slow it down and let's start again.
Yeah, typical centre forward. When it's not on for a goal, nah, just slow it down, can't be bothered. There's no goal on, I'm not going to expend any energy. But again, when Chelsea, they break, they look really good. But once again, you know, just a few moments before that, it was that man Dewsbury Hall who got the ball on the left-hand side. It really doesn't look like a shame for him that he hasn't got enough help. I mean, keep on looking at it. He's arguably one of the best, if not the best player in the field so far. But he's certainly the best player playing for Leicester City.
And the other noticeable thing as well, Pat, just before that, was that ball was on to Gusto again, who'd started a run from deep, and actually every single Chelsea fan in the stadium is now onto it as well, and you could hear thousands of them going, it's on, it's on.
I think because these Chelsea fans, are some of them anyway, remember players like Fabregas, remember players like David Luiz, they'd find that ball every single time. It wouldn't be maybe, it would land there.
Jackson getting away from Faes. Clumsy challenge from the Belgian just inside the Chelsea half. Won't be a yellow card. Makes his apologies. Jackson stays down. Jackson creating the goal for Marc Cucurella. Chelsea leading Leicester by 1-0. But I just wonder at the end of the day whether we're going to come back to the decision for Raheem Sterling to take the penalty in the first half rather than Cole Palmer. Poor effort from Sterling. I've seen him take good penalties. I have seen him take decent penalties. That wasn't one of them.
No, but I can't. When he walked up to take it, I just couldn't get my head round why. I mean, if you've got somebody who's on form, scoring penalties, scoring goals, player of the season, he's on the pitch, he's having a decent game, there's no reason to take the ball off Cole Palmer at that point in time. But Raheem's taking it. To be honest, he's one of the few players that's it's kind of not really went for Raheem today, has it? You know, he's not really going by players. You look at Mudryk's going by players. You get the usual from Cole Palmer, Gusto, Jackson looks as if he's flying as well. Maybe Raheem's the only one so far that hasn't quite worked for yet.
Chelsea have taken their free kick and they've come back to goalkeeper Sanchez, just outside the penalty area, drives the ball forward right down the middle of the pitch. Vestergaard stands there, heads it away. Fass gets a foot on it. Conor Gallagher races in to try and win it for Chelsea. Last touch comes off a Leicester player, so that'll be a throw for Chelsea. Midway inside the Leicester half on the left, Cucurella lobs it back to Gallagher. Gallagher across to Caicedo. Caicedo back here to Disasi. Little camera close-up on Thiago Silva, one of the Chelsea substitutes this afternoon.
It is odd, you know, because obviously the experience he's got, and if he's available, I'm tempted to use him, but I think he will be needed between now and the end of the season.
Not played in the last 5 games, third consecutive appearance on the bench for Thiago Silva, one of those Chelsea players who actually started that FA Cup final 3 years ago, the defeat against Leicester. Chowdhury's got to be careful, just has the strength to hold off Mudryk. Leicester playing in this change kit, the black shirts with the light blue sash across the front, work the ball to the right. Fatawu can't control it, under pressure from Cucurella, and it goes out for a Chelsea throw on the left.
I would say probably 20-25 minutes Chelsea looks as if they could absolutely run away with this. And maybe since the penalty miss, it's kind of come off a little bit from Chelsea, but it's quieting down, and they're not getting beyond the Leicester City defence as often, and Leicester have come into the game that little bit more. Chelsea still look the favourites to win, but it's not absolutely, if Leicester could get the odd chance, and if they could score a goal and get level, I would ask a question of this Chelsea team, who have been known to lose confidence.
Caicedo fouled by Dewsbury Hall. Dewsbury Hall incredibly frustrated with the decision, leaps in the air, slaps both hands on his thighs, but the referee's not changing his mind on that one. Whistle blew immediately, so Chelsea free kick inside their own half. A different story to yesterday, Pat, actually, where Coventry had the better chances of, should have been well clear of Wolves, then got pegged back, and you thought, well, they almost got there, and now they've been undone by 2 late goals, and then somehow found the resolve and the wherewithal to conjure up 2 brilliant goals of their own late in the time.
Yeah, a fantastic FA Cup time. There's some good sport yesterday. Those rugby games weren't bad, were they?
Yeah, very good, Pat. 6 Nations has been fantastic. Rugby Union Daily for all the roundup of the final day of action, available via the BBC Sounds app. Harry Winks calming things down for Leicester, just inside his own half. Chowdhury to his right in the midfield position at the moment. Back to Vestergaard, sweeping ball controlled by Fatawu. Cucurella backs off. Fatawu looking for a teammate here, looking for support. Inside right channel, has to come back to Vestergaard. Bouncing ball, he chests it down. Vestergaard takes a couple of giant strides forward, lumbering into the Chelsea half. Finds Daka. Low ball out to the left to Mavididi. Mavididi into that Chelsea penalty area. A couple of step-overs. Back it comes to Doyle. Cross in. Disasi gets a foot on it to clear for Chelsea. Fass nods it up in the air. Harry Winks brings it down, immediately under pressure from Mudryk. Just about keeps it for Leicester. Here's Fass. Chowdhury to Winks. Central position, 30 yards from goal. Out it goes to the right to Fatawu. Good run made by Ndidi in the box. Stand-up cross caught by Sanchez at the near post.
Again, very good by Leicester there. Held the ball well, plenty of players up front, but the problem is always the break, and this time Sterling couldn't quite get onto it. And I wouldn't be blaming Sterling for that. The ball was about a yard too far ahead of him, a little bit too fast.
Cole Palmer annoyed with himself and not quite getting the pass right, because he'd spotted the gap and he'd threaded it through. There was just too much on it.
It is one of those ones you just fire it into feet there. There's no need to play it through. He's got plenty of space here. He's got about 50 yards of space to run into.
Sterling curling a ball into space for Mudryk to chase. Stalacic there just in time. Sliding challenge, wins the ball. Forward it goes to Fatawu, backing into Cucurella. Cucurella's penalised. Free kick for Leicester. 2.5 minutes plus added time remaining in the first half at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 1, Leicester 0. If you are just tuning in, goal scored by Cucurella, but Stalacic has saved a penalty from Raheem Sterling.
Yeah, what a difference it would make if you're Leicester, if you've got Jamie Vardy on there. They've got to the byline 3 or 4 times, and you just think probably not, because they haven't got Jamie Vardy. If Vardy was in there, you'd be thinking, well, any one of those chances could go, and if they get another one, So it makes a big difference not having an actual goal scorer up there as good as Vardy.
9 games in the Championship to go, so Leicester will hope that Jamie Vardy is back. Friday the 29th of March, Easter weekend, Bristol City away, and then Norwich at home to follow. They're still going to play West Brom and Southampton in the run-in as well. The end of the Championship season at both ends of the table is going to be quite something. Conor Gallagher fouled inside his own half. Chelsea free kick, leading Leicester by 1-0, but Leicester fans would dearly love an FA Cup semi-final thrown in and a trip to Wembley potentially, and not out of the tie, given a reprieve by the poor Sterling penalty, the save from the goalkeeper, and Chelsea have just lost a little bit of rhythm since then. Goalkeeper Sanchez looking nervy too, rare appearance for him. Ball at his feet right now inside his own penalty area. Daka starts to come towards him. Sanchez plays the ball up the middle of the pitch. Jackson brilliant. On to Sterling from Caicedo. Sterling clean through. Chance here. Oh, he's missed. He's put it wide. 1-on-1 against the Larchik, and he stroked it wide of goal. Goal kick for Leicester.
He should easily have a hat-trick by now, Sterling. He's been put in brilliant positions by his teammates time and time again. You know, considering he's by distance the highest paid player at the club, there's so much experience. 1-on-1 with goalkeepers, I mean, at least you get that on target. That's a bad miss, certainly.
One of those days for Raheem Sterling so far. Mudryk chips the ball, tries to collect his own little chip, indeed he's in there. Knocks it out for a throw-in to Chelsea. On the left, just inside their own half, goal scorer Mark Cucurella will be about to take it. So Sterling missing the penalty and then put clean through is well worked by Chelsea. Just 3 simple passes right up the middle of the pitch, got away from Wout fast, sized the goalkeeper up, who did make himself big, but the key point you say about it, didn't even hit the target.
No, to be honest, no striker worth his salt feels as if he should miss it when you're 1-on-1. Another chance.
Sterling determined, heads it forward onto the box, cross in, Palmer! Show Sterling how it's done. Sure-footed finish at the near post. Raheem Sterling with the assist. The trademark celebration from Cole Palmer, where he just rubs his arms, feeling the chill. Ice-cold finishing from Chelsea's best player this season, and now they lead 2-0 in the cup tie. Chelsea 2, Leicester 0.
Right, first of all, well done, Raheem Sterling. You're through and goal. I would say 99 times 100, he goes and tries to shoot from there. He knows he's having one of those days. Let's not bother shooting. Let's pass it to someone else who can put it in. And he does exactly the right thing there. And Palmer coming into that area there, it's a tap in. He's not missing them. He hasn't missed them all season. He is having an exceptional season. Actually, he's not had his brightest game today, but he's got into the right position. And I mean, that may well have put the game almost beyond Leicester City already.
14th goal of the season for Cole Palmer. Chelsea 2, Leicester 0. It's come in added time at the end of the first half. Absolute hammer blow for the Championship leaders. They kick off again. Harry Winks receives the ball. He's able to trot forward to the halfway line. Back it comes to Doyle. Launches a long diagonal. Cucurella's underneath it in the left-back position. Heads it away. And it goes out for a throw-in to Leicester on the right. 3 minutes of added time to be played. We've got 90 seconds to go. And Leicester have an awful lot of work to do to get themselves back into this game. Goes without saying they absolutely have to score the next goal and not concede another before half-time, but they might do. Sterling coming forward, running at Fast. Fast makes the tackle. Sterling bundles into him. Referee says play on. Sterling's got the ball at his feet, just inside the penalty area, looking for that low ball again. Fast sticks a left leg out and blocks it, and it runs back to Caicedo. Across here to Conor Gallagher. Curling effort just wide. Stolarczyk had it covered. Goal kick for Leicester.
Conor Gallagher's desperate to have a dig there because he's playing a little bit further back the field here. He's a little bit deeper, more close to the end zone position beside Caicedo, so he's not getting up the park as much as he usually does. So this one time he got there, he had a shot. Personally, I don't think it was on, but 2-0 up, he's allowed that.
Last minute then of the first half. Back with Steve Crossman shortly. Patson Daka gets to the ball for Leicester, up by the Chelsea penalty area. Dewsbury Hall rolls it into the path of Callum Doyle. Doyle's ball into the edge of the area. Gallagher intercepts, tries a backheel for some reason from there. Chelsea nearly lost it. Gallagher gets another chance and this time plays a sensible pass to his right to Caicedo. Caicedo keeps running, blocked by Chowdhury as he was making ground in the Leicester half. Chelsea get the free kick. The question is, will Chowdhury get booked for the challenge?
FA Cup rules, mate. Told you this before.
That's all right.
Sometimes in the FA Cup, particularly younger, certainly younger teams that are from a lower division get away with just that little bit more.
Right. Did you ever complain about that as a player, Pat? When you were the player from the higher division, obviously.
Only always,
yeah. Right, I think time is up. End of the first half. Entertaining stuff, but it looks like Chelsea in a very comfortable position to make yet another FA Cup semi-final. Half-time whistle blows. They should be 3-0 up. They lead 2-0. Mark Cucurella with the first goal, brilliantly created by Nicholas Jackson. Cole Palmer with the goal just before half-time, well created by Raheem Sterling. And as you say, Pat, an impressive response by Sterling, who's had a pretty difficult first half and took a terrible penalty. And actually, look, Mauricio Pochettino's right-hand man comes out and is immediately talking to Sterling and trying to gee him up a bit. Yeah,
maybe having a word. It was, even before the penalty kick, he'd missed chances. He was a little bit slow. Even for the penalty kick, he should have got the shot away before the penalty was actually given. So, it just wasn't working for him, and he's watching everybody else flying past him at that point in time. Had you scored the penalty, his confidence would have risen immediately. But he's kept on going, and in the end, he did the right thing. He made the right choice. He didn't try and go from an acute angle, pass the ball to Palmer, and pass it in. Chelsea are 2-0 up just now. You say 3. It probably ought to be 4 or 5. Leicester just now, they're working hard, but there are a lot of naive players out there. There are 3, 4, 5 naive players in comparison to Premier League players, and Chelsea have shown time and time again they can really easily get into good positions. So it's up to Leicester to do something totally different in the second half.
Looking comfortable for the Premier League team at half-time. Steve Crossman didn't want to talk about Cole Palmer before the game. You might have to talk about him after the game, Steve. Chelsea 2, Leicester 0, Cucurella and Palmer with the goals.
Well, let's talk about him now as well. Why not? I mean, it was inevitable, wasn't it? We didn't need to do it before the game. He was always going to do something like that. I suppose, Pat, the point is, even if you have an individual like Raheem Sterling, who for whatever reason hasn't been having his best game up until that assist, you're always going to have other individuals like Cole Palmer in this team who can pick up the mantle.
Well, they've all shown one thing, that incredible pace going forward, and certainly that Leicester side defence can't live with it. Jackson, for about 20-25 minutes he looked as if they couldn't get near him. He was so fast, he was making such good runs. There's so much space in behind it, they could go that. Mudryk again, started, looked fantastic, and then has faded out of it again. But you keep on going back. You see there's other players, but you keep on going back to the two we're talking about before the game. Yes, it is Cole Palmer, he is fabulous there, but it's also Gusto beside him, or behind him, and sometimes in front of him. In fact, almost always in front of him in this first half. And you look at Gusto and you think, isn't that wonderful, isn't that great? He runs into areas, he's such a danger. Do you know why? Because he's playing behind Cole Palmer, who's so intelligent that he drags everybody away and leaves that gap there. So even when Palmer's not got the ball and you're looking at Gusto, actually it's Palmer that's actually doing it. He's the smartness about it, he's the intelligence about it, he's creating all that space. It's really special to see. Early on the season, I was talking about Chelsea, a team that looked they were built by an algorithm and didn't know how to work together. Well, the algorithm doesn't look as if it's working with Palmer and Gusto. It's very, very human and understanding contact they've got with each other, and it looks really good.
Enjoying a bit of Weezer in the background there. Have a little respect. That's not been Leicester's problem, has it? They've given it a good go. They might feel that they should have had a goal somewhere in there, albeit there could have been a few more at the other end too.
Yeah, they've got to the byline 2 or 3 times. I've been talking a lot about Dewsbury Hall. Looks a wee bit special every time he gets the ball. It's one of those ones where it's kind of old-fashioned. I hope he gets the ball again soon, because he is going at players. He's beating players. Once he gets beyond them, he's looking really good at it. I'm watching the Alistair Bridge ball. He's spotted something here. If you don't mind me passing it on to him.
Steve, sorry, I'm just watching. So there's the BBC coverage today. The little conversation between Sterling and Palmer ahead of the penalty. Because I thought Sterling initially went and got that ball. Palmer had the ball and was walking towards the penalty spot, and it looks like Raheem Sterling goes over Pat and basically says, can I have the penalty? And for whatever reason, Cole Palmer possibly should have stood his ground there and said, no, look, I'm the penalty taker, I'm taking it. Let him take it, and he missed it.
Think he will next time.
We know what it's like in the TV and Match of the Day. They're usually overburdened by centre forwards on there. They'll all be saying, don't give the penalty away, just take it yourself. Never ever give it away. If you've got it in your hands, it's your penalty. If you're the man in possession of it, you go and take it. So I'm with the centre forwards in this one.
I mean, that is the kind of Claude Makelele to score his only Chelsea goal after they've already won the league. It's not for the first half of an FA Cup quarter-final.
Exactly, and Chelsea want to put this one to bed. Remember, if you've got big games coming up now, what you would like to do at some point in this game is give one or two players a little bit of a rest. Don't take chances with the players. And also, there's a couple of lads on the bench here that are not big names. Wouldn't it be great to give them a little bit of a run out, like likes of Aki Ompong and Ollie Harrison? It'd be great to give them a little bit of a run out. Now, if you could put this game to bed early on, you can do that. But if you start knocking about a bit and missing penalties, it might take that a little bit longer to do that. So, no, you don't do that. You're much more professional until you get the game finished.
Comfortable anyway after that Cole Palmer goal. Ali, Pat, thank you for the time being. Of course, second half commentary from Stamford Bridge, Chelsea 2, Leicester 0 in the FA Cup quarter-final. We're going to bring you full commentary on 5 Sports Extra in 20 minutes' time of West Ham versus Aston Villa. So we'll take you to the London Stadium for the first time today shortly. We'll be back around the games in the Women's Super League. Later scores: Liverpool 2, West Ham 0, Manchester United 1, Bristol City 0 and Brighton 0, Manchester City 2. All of those games in the second half. 2 o'clock kickoff is Tottenham versus Leicester. Let's get the news now on 5 Live with Joe Critcher.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Queues have formed outside the Russian embassy in London, where people are waiting to vote in the country's presidential election. Opposition supporters are calling for people to turn out and vote for any candidate other than Vladimir Putin or to spoil their ballots. In Russia, more than 50 protesters have been arrested. The Liberal Democrat leader, Sir Ed Davey, has told his party's spring conference the NHS will be central to their general election campaign. Addressing members in York, he set out plans for reforms to community healthcare to save lives and save money. The Transport Secretary has refused to confirm reports the government accepted a further £5 million donation from a businessman accused of making racist comments about the MP Diane Abbott. Mark Harper told the BBC the Conservatives do not have a problem with race. The government's issued tougher guidance for councils in England wanting to introduce low-traffic neighbourhoods, saying it's on the side of drivers. Local authorities that want to bring in the measures, which stop vehicles using some residential roads, will have to distribute leaflets, run online surveys and hold in-person meetings. Jack Cousins is from the AA.
I think most people look at it and go, this feels common sense, that we want communities to give us their thoughts. They're going to ultimately live in these streets. They're going to be dealing with the daily grind of all this in terms of how traffic flows and all the rest of it. So getting those communities in early, having those good discussions is a really good thing.
And tributes have been paid to Steve Harley, the frontman of Cockney Rebel, who's died at the age of 73 after being treated for cancer. His family said he exuded passion, kindness and generosity.
BBC 5 Live.
The voice of sport.
Wales take on Finland in their 2024 Euro qualifier playoff semi-final as Rob Page's squad continue to fight for their place in this year's competition.
Wilson's in here! Wilson! Goal for Wales!
Hear live commentary Thursday evening from 7:45.
Euro 2024 qualifiers. Wales versus Finland.
On 5 Live and BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport with Steve Crossman.
On 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
15 minutes to go and Liverpool now lead West Ham 3-0 in the Women's Super League. What about the game between Brighton and Manchester City? Hamish Marshall.
8 minutes since the restart, it's still Brighton 0, Manchester City 2. I think the storyline for this second half is surely going to be, can City get the 6-goal winning margin they need to oust Chelsea from the summit of the WSL? I think on the evidence we've seen so far, highly possible would be my answer. Lauren Hemp, who scored in the first goal, has hit the post since the restart as another City corner comes in here. Mary Fowler got the other goal for City as they've really been dominant in this match. Alex Greenwood has had a header cleared off the line as well. City are heading for the 3 points and a 10th straight win. Can they get that 6-goal margin?
In the Scottish Premiership, Rangers say they're extremely disappointed and angered by the late postponement of their match at Dundee. It was due to kick off at midday. They called it off just over 90 minutes before the game. This is the 4th time a match has been postponed at Dens Park this season following heavy rain. Here's the Rangers boss, Philippe Clement.
We didn't know anything, so we were not warned, not yesterday evening, not during the night, not this morning. So our kitman had to discover that there was a problem because it was early here. So that's already a strange situation. And secondly, probably this will be the only pitch in all the leagues in Scotland where a game will be postponed. So I think it's really bad advertisement for the league that this can happen. Because I understand the referee totally, he made the right decision. You cannot play football on this surface, and I think it's clearly in the rules of football. If you throw a ball in the air and it doesn't bounce, you cannot play a game. And then we don't even speak about safety of the players. You cannot have any stability on this field how it is at this moment.
So you think it was the right decision to cancel the game? What was the reason that was given to you, and how happy are you with the conclusion that they came to?
First, it's the right decision, yes. In my mind, for my heart, not, because I wanted to play, and my players wanted to play. So we know the program, the schedule that is coming. So we don't want in these important periods to have a midweek game when others don't have it. But it's the only right decision. You cannot play football on this kind of surface.
So for you, it's all down to the pitch, the surface?
Totally. The referee made the right decision, and the only decision he could make.
Philippe Clement, the Rangers boss, speaking to BBC Scotland. One game in the Premier League today. West Ham versus Aston Villa gets underway in 15 minutes' time. 5 Sports Extra for the commentary. We'll have second half commentary here on 5 Live if the game at Stamford Bridge doesn't go to extra time. West Ham refining their early season form. Villa hoping to bounce back from that heavy defeat to Spurs last weekend. Sahel Sahi has the team news.
Yeah, and both sides with successful Thursday nights in Europe, Steve. Can the momentum continue? West Ham 7th, Aston Villa 4th. European football very much on the agenda again for both clubs. David Moyes only makes 2 changes to his 11. Areola, he returns in goals, and Emerson replaces Aaron Cresswell as the left back. Aston Villa, they'll be looking to capitalise on Tottenham's out of sorts performance yesterday and move 5 points clear in the race for 4th place and certain Champions League qualification. Ollie Watkins, he does start after a slight scare on Thursday. There's 4 changes, with captain John McGinn starting a 3-game suspension.
Former Wales defender Danny Gabidon is one half of our commentary team. Afternoon, Danny.
Afternoon, Steve. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thank you. I suppose West Ham fans will be feeling pretty good as well because Lucas Paqueta's in the team. I've got this stat in front of me, which is remarkable. He's started all 12 of their Premier League wins this season, and they haven't won any of the 7 games he hasn't started. That says it all.
I think it does. He's so important to this team. When he's not in the team, you obviously from those stats kind of see the difference. You know, you look at this kind of West Ham team, Steve, and the way they kind of set up. It's all about kind of being compact. They sit kind of a little bit deeper. They're kind of a transition team. They like to counter-attack, and they're heavily reliant kind of on individual players, I would say, in the attacking third to make things happen. They're not a team that plays those kind of pretty patterns and works their way up the field and they kind of score beautiful team goals. They're very reliant on the likes of Bowen, Paqueta, Kudus to produce those kind of individual moments of brilliance. And look, Paqueta is he's a special player, obviously very close to going to Man City in the summer. West Ham done a really good job kind of keeping hold of him. He's so important for this team. In particular, Jared Bowen and Kudus either side. He's the guy that can has the vision to play those passes, execute those passes and score goals. So David Moyes would be delighted to have him kind of back in the team, and West Ham are going very well at the minute. 7th in the Premier League and obviously an excellent result in Europe in midweek, so they'll be looking to push on again today.
And they want to be in Europe again. Clearly, David Moyes made the point this week. If you want to get players like Lucas Paqueta, if you want to get players like Mohamed Kudus, you've got to be in Europe again to do it, realistically. Well,
you do. If West Ham want to continue to kind of push on and develop, you're looking at the squad and you're looking where you can improve things. The likes of Paqueta, if you want to keep that kind of quality around in the building, the team needs to be continually kind of progressing, being successful and doing well. And I think that is the kind of question with West Ham. A lot of fans are obviously... Well, I wouldn't say a lot of fans, but certain sections of the fans have been questioning the manager, the style of play, and maybe wanting a change. It's very difficult from my point of view to maybe agree with that, with what David Moyes has done with his team, where he's taken them from. But, where do West Ham kind of go from here? They're the 7th in the Premier League, as I say, doing really well in Europe the last kind of 3 seasons. The next step now, you're looking at maybe, okay, can we push into kind of the top 4, which is so difficult. And to do that, obviously, you need to probably spend a different level of money to try and do that. And I don't think this West Ham kind of team or this club is capable of probably doing that at the minute. They probably need new owners. So it's very difficult to see where they kind of go from where they are. But look, they're doing very, very well. And you always want to keep hold of your best players, Steve. Yeah. Of course you do, if you want to be successful.
Villa are fourth. They're in possession of what they want. I suppose that is the only danger, isn't it? You realise, hang on a second, we might be 8 points above where we need to be to get in the Champions League.
Well, look, you're looking at Villa and what they've kind of done this season. Absolutely phenomenal. Unai Emery has done a tremendous job with this Aston Villa team. I think they're a really exciting team to watch. They score goals. Unai Emery, for me, has kind of evolved a bit as a manager as well. You look at some of his previous clubs, always kind of saw him more as a kind of a defensive-minded coach, but he's come into Aston Villa. It's been the complete opposite. They play with that kind of high line. They risk it a bit defensively. They've got attacking players who have scored lots of goals this season. Ollie Watkins being the standout performer. And gone through a little bit of an iffy patch of late. A lot of that's been down to injuries, particularly in that defensive area. But look, they'll be looking to get back on the horse this afternoon after a difficult result up against Tottenham. But with Tottenham obviously losing yesterday, the incentive's there for them to solidify that fourth place.
Thank you, Danny. Live commentary on Sports Extra. We're ready to get back underway at Stamford Bridge. Ali.
Just underway, FA Cup quarter-final, Chelsea comfortable at the moment, leading Leicester by 2-0. Second half just underway, and it started with Nicholas Jackson, who created the first goal for Marc Cucurella, taking a knock. He's flat on his back. Chelsea all in blue, familiar blue kits. Well, I say all in blue shirts, blue shorts, but the White Sox playing from left to right in the second half, and Leicester in this change strip, which hasn't caused too many problems, Pat, although at the start we were slightly disconcerted. It's a black kit with a light blue slash across the front.
Well, it's not for us, but well, before one or two of the players. The only consideration would be when the ball's zipping about inside the box, there's a lot of bodies in there. There's not that massive difference between the shirt sleeves, etc. But as you say, when the ball's in an open play, it's been okay. Jackson's back up. He had been injured earlier on in the game in exactly the same position, just in his back, his lower back, but he seems to have recovered yet again.
So West Ham Villa on the way on Sports Extra. Commentary starts on Sports Extra. It kicks off at 2 in the Premier League. It'll then switch to 5 Live after this cup tie is over. Potential of extra time and penalties if Leicester can score a couple of unanswered goals in the second half. Chelsea on the ball in their own half. No changes made by either manager at half-time. Robert Sanchez being closed down quickly by Daka. Clears with his right foot. Doyle heads it forward. Mavididi nods it infield. Gusto chases this out to the right flank. And nice ball to Mavididi. Pass from him back to Harry Winks just inside the Chelsea half. Hurried into his pass back to Fass. Fass across to Vestergaard. Vestergaard runs away from Jackson. Lays it off to Doyle. Doyle slides it through to Dewsbury Hall. He steps over the ball, has Gusto for company, plays back to Mavididi. Mavididi dangles a right leg in front of the ball. Dewsbury Hall outside him, cross into the far post. Cucurella defending again. He's done that 3 or 4 times for Chelsea in this game so far. Wins the header. Mudryk tries to run it out for Chelsea. He was strong in the challenge there. Oh, that's good skill from Mudryk. He started this run just outside his own penalty area. Decides to lay it off now to Jackson, but Mudryk continues his run towards the box. Jackson, though, running across the face of the box, plays it to Palmer. Palmer onto that deadly left foot. He's got Leicester players in front of him, so just rolls a slow pass back to Caicedo. Gallagher hears the shout from Cucurella on the left. Cucurella plays back to Gallagher. Chelsea looking for an early third goal in the second half to completely kill this tie. Here's Mudryk, 25 yards out, inside left channel, low ball to the edge of the box. Vestergaard steps out and reads it. Cushions the ball here to Dewsbury Hall. Dewsbury Hall's carried this a long way forward for Leicester, waiting to release the pass, but he's knocked over before he can do so. Free kick for Leicester in the middle of the Chelsea half. Pat Nevin.
But he didn't have any options on, and that's the difference. When Chelsea break, there's 3 and 4 up there. They are flying away. They know they've got the pace of the opposition. When Leicester break, they haven't really. They've not got many players. He had 4 players around him. 1 player running beyond the butt. He's not getting any options, has he?
Cole Palmer's got, I think everyone knows, it's quite a bit about him, doesn't he? So the ball was there pretty much on the spot for Leicester to take the free kick. Mavididi came in to he bent down to pick it up, and Palmer moved it only ever so slightly, but just dragged it away from him. Mavididi laughed. He went to go and get it again, and Palmer did it to him. Wind-up merchant.
Yeah, and also he does it with a kind of straight face.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm not winding you up.
Yeah. Brilliant skill there, just to keep it close and move it away each time. 3.5 minutes gone in the second half.
You mentioned before there about Cucurella. He's got a lot of stick, and there's two people not talking to each other.
Yes, exactly. It looks like that. John Terry and David Beckham are both... Well, John Terry's in one conversation on his left, and David Beckham's more bothered by what's on his mobile phone at the moment in the second half here at Stamford Bridge.
Must be the trendy place to come again.
He's looking for the BBC Sounds app, Paddy, saying, where can I get second half commentary? I've heard about this app that's got 5 Live and Sports Extra on it. Maybe that should accompany my watching of the game. Well done, David. Here's Cucurella. Ball in field to Gallagher. Gallagher's low ball. Sterling's got the freedom. Stamford Bridge slips over as he tries to run forward. It runs to Gusto, though. Gusto, Sterling's on his feet, calling for it again. Gusto up to the edge of the box. Pass to his right. Palmer's got to chase it. Just about keeps it in play. Crosses in with his right foot, and then had to be careful he didn't go tumbling over the hoardings behind the goal. It's caught by Stolarczyk, the Leicester keeper.
Do you know, if Raheem hadn't made that goal at the end of the half there, and he'd had that fall there when he was flying away, you just say, oh my goodness. But hey, he's had the assist, and that's all you do if you're a forward. You can do anything, but if he gets a goal now and he's got a goal and assist, he can walk away with a big smile on his face.
You can feel the confidence flooding out of these Chelsea players at the moment. Gusto just on the ball there with a lovely little dummy on Harry Winks, and now they're knocking it around for fun inside the Leicester half. Chelsea 2, Leicester 0. Conor Gallagher gets on the ball in the centre circle. Short pass to his right to Caicedo. Forward to Palmer. Palmer. Low ball out to the right to Gusto. One touch. Cross into the near post. Well headed by Fass. Jackson was trying to get on the end of that. And it goes out for a throw into Chelsea. Midway inside the Leicester half on the right.
Can I tell you one player who's hurting just now watching this? Reece James. You must be watching it thinking, if I was...
Disasi, this could be an own goal! Unbelievable mistake from Chelsea from the throw-in. Disasi under pressure from Daka was trying to pass it back to Robert Sanchez. Such a clumsy touch with his left foot. Left Sanchez absolutely stranded, and he's just passed it into his own net from 40 yards out, and Leicester are gifted away back into this FA Cup quarter-final. Chelsea 2, Leicester 1.
Do you know, he was under a little bit of pressure, and he knew, he was sluggish off his feet there, but he's just caught it in a half volley. I've got to say, he's caught it perfect. He's absolutely leathered it from about 30 yards.
Chelsea immediately trying to respond. Jackson getting away down the right, drives the shot into the side netting. The angle was tight, he had 2 to aim for in the middle, but he only had eyes for goal. Goal kick for Leicester.
Yeah, I mean, the headline's been waiting for a long time, Disasi disaster. I don't think it is a disaster as long as Chelsea keep on staying in front here and get through, but that is an awful... I mean, was that one of the best worst own goals you've ever seen?
I was just about to say that very thing, Pat, and we're going to see it again now. He just catches it so sweetly with his left foot, and as he looks up, he sees Sanchez is right on the edge of his box, but he plays it wide of Sanchez as well, and as soon as it left his foot, Pat, you knew it was going in.
Well, there wasn't even a doubt. It was so far out. It's actually, you say caught it with his foot, I think it's above his foot. It's almost his ankle, his malleolus, and he's caught it so clean.
But is it, Pat, a really good point to the defending team that if you put that pressure on, you never know what can happen, because he just made it a slightly more difficult back pass by doing that, didn't he?
This made him think about it, because to be honest, he was getting pushed a wee bit for pace there, and he's just passed it back to the keeper and all the Leicester fans behind him. As you would imagine, we're letting him know.
It's livened up the cup tie. Chelsea 2, Leicester 1. 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Disasi on the ball, getting heaps from the Leicester fans, but very calm at the moment, but his clearance is blocked by Dewsbury Hall. He was taking his time, looking left and right, seemed to be unflustered. Chelsea have lost it. Winks on the ball, central position, pass to Ndidi. Ndidi quickly on to Fatawu. In from the right, skins Cucurella down by the byline. Sanchez blocks the cross at the near post, pats it up in the air and catches it at the second attempt. Sprints to the edge of the area, rolls it out to Sterling. Sterling starts speeding forward with those short, quick little steps. Passes to Jackson on the left. Sterling still in position on the edge of the box. Jackson's pass just beyond Palmer. Palmer has to go galloping after it, manages to get there. Few players seem to be slightly losing their footing on this pitch, certainly in the second half. Palmer, slight slip there, back to Gusto, into Caicedo, finds Gallagher, 25 yards out, clever pass to Caicedo. He's going to drive the shot, good save by Stolarczyk, gets down quickly to block it.
It's made a cup tie though, hasn't it? You know, we started this second half, Chelsea the swagger was back, they were passing it around, and then that moment from Disasi, and suddenly the lift that you get from every single Leicester player. They had a chance there on the right hand side, flying in there was Fatawu. He's not really done much in this game, but there got himself into a good position, and Chelsea are broken. So yeah,
Craziest.
Cup tie on.
Yeah, we do, Pat. Craziest own goals you've ever seen. Definitely sounds like one for 6:06 tonight. Chris and Robbie on air from 5 o'clock on 5 Live this afternoon, taking the calls through until 7. That certainly is one of them in my football commentary career, from Axel Disasi here. Chelsea 2, Leicester 1. Gusto is down, hurt. Another goal in the WSL. Brighton, Manchester City, Hamish Marshall.
Brighton 0, Manchester City 3. That third goal for Manchester City, Khadija Shaw, a header from about 5 yards out after a Yue Hasegawa cross. 20 minutes to play. Brighton 0, Manchester City 3.
Thank you, Hamish. Just having a look on the BBC Sport website here, just to get the other scorelines from the WSL. I can see Liverpool 3, West Ham 1, Manchester United 2, Bristol City 0, and those games are almost done. They kicked off at 12 o'clock. Chelsea happily playing the ball around at the back. As Pat Nevin was saying, we've got a cup tie on our hands thanks to the Disasi own goal. Manchester City and Coventry already through to the semi-finals. Chelsea 2, Leicester 1, Manchester United, Liverpool kicking off at 3:30 this afternoon. So updates in 5 Live Sport on into 6:06, and you'll also be able to hear the semi-final draw at around about 5:30. John Murray and Michael Brown both at Old Trafford for Manchester United. Liverpool Leeds Millwall kicks off at 3 o'clock in the Championship.
Well, you see if Leicester can keep on going from this, they can lift themselves a little bit. You can see that there is a little bit more belief as well have an effect in Chelsea, but that little break from Jackson, as soon as it was scored, you could tell that they know that they've got a couple of years to go through Chelsea here, but they need to go through them. They might need to go through them.
Yeah, Chelsea have been generous so far today. Sterling's missed penalty when Cole Palmer certainly should have taken it, and Disasi's own goal. Chelsea 2, Leicester 1. Ball back with Stolarczyk. Jackson closes in. Stolarczyk clears with his right foot. Cucurella leaps to win the header. Nods it down to Gallagher. And Ndidi leaps in with a challenge. Turns away from Gallagher. Continues to run away from him and Mudryk, and now Winks on the ball for Leicester. Load of space for Fatawu on the right, but a couple of 1-2s played between Chowdhury and Winks, trying to draw the Chelsea players in.
I don't know what Chowdhury's doing there, because all he needs to do is turn and see that he's got a winger free. He's playing simple little balls, but just he's killing all the space.
It's the Gusto ball, isn't it, as we're now calling it. Out to the right, but this is Fatawu for Leicester. Left-footed cross. Oh, it's just beyond Daka. Stretching header. Nearly got the touch. Sanchez able to collect it behind him. Wide open at the moment between these two. Palmer's ball forward. Great run being made by Gusto. Jackson on the ball. Still has it at his feet. Then looks for the pass. Poor one. Fass intercepts. Plays it to Winks. They exchange passes, and now Callum Doyle on the left for Leicester thinks about driving forward. Didn't see an option ahead of him. Slows it down and brings it back into his own half.
But it's very, very open. Both teams are getting chances. I mean, both teams are playing very, very high lines defensively. So that as a forward, you're loving that. There's so much space to run into there. But once again, the furthest forward player was Gusto getting from that right back. I mean, honestly, can Gusto keep on doing that for the entire game? He must have, I'd love to know what his coverage distances.
Dewsbury Hall to the left, Mavididi. There's Gusto doing the defensive part of the job, sliding in, winning the ball cleanly. Palmer receives it from Caicedo. Strong challenge by Callum Doyle, knocks Caicedo over. He doesn't complain. Palmer has it. Pass infield intercepted by Winks. Winks with his head up, looking right and left. Mavididi in support on the left. Plays it back here to Dewsbury Hall. So Leicester City in this second half, playing towards that shed end, packed with Leicester fans. Chelsea 2, Leicester 1. Leicester have slowed it down. Chelsea back in numbers. Mavididi passes back to Winks. Winks controlling things from a central midfield position. Quite happy to receive it again from Vestergaard. Pace on the ball out to Mavididi. Cole Palmer fancies taking him on. Little step over. Drops the shoulder back onto his right foot. Pass back to Winks. Winks looks up. They're trying to drag Chelsea over to the left to open the space on the right. This space they're now using with Fatawu. Cucurella closes the space down quickly. Ndidi, slight miscontrol, gets there, crosses to the near post. Daka's header spooned up in the air, and behind it goes for a goal kick to Chelsea. Leicester fans like what they're seeing, Pat.
Yeah, and Daka's getting into good positions. He really is, but he doesn't look like an absolute natural striker who's going to go in, and he's got two defenders. Chalobah's played really quite well against him, and of course him and Disasi are much, much taller, so it's hard for him to get these opportunities. So he gets in front there, but he has to do a lot to get that one on target.
Chelsea take the goal kick short. Daka closing in on Sanchez. He took a while there, Sanchez. Can't complain about the challenge. He showed enough of it to Daka, came sliding in. Sanchez's clearance ends up going downfield, ending up in the Leicester half, and Chowdhury plays back to his goalkeeper, Stolarczyk, who passes it just beyond the outstretched right leg of Jackson. could be competing for the most ridiculous goal scored in this cup tie, had that just hit Jackson's foot and ended up in the back of the net. Mavididi gets it from Winks, challenge on him by Gusto. Can't take your eyes off Gusto playing for Chelsea today.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking before the game about Chelsea. Everyone talked about Cole Palmer being player of the year, yes, but you have to put Gusto into the conversation. He is that good. He's just growing and growing and growing. Very, very special player to watch. But it's beyond me if he can actually keep on going at this pace for the rest of the game, because he has flown all the way through this game.
Cucurella fouled at his own half by Fatawu. Lineups then, as it stands on the field at the moment. We are 14 minutes into the second half. So much has happened. Haven't even been able to do that for you. Robert Sanchez in goal for Chelsea. Gusto, Disasi, Chalobah, Cucurella, the back four. Caicedo and Gallagher in the midfield. Palmer, Sterling, Mudryk and Jackson. Every time you hear that noise, that's the Leicester fans getting on Disasi's back every time he gets on the ball inside his own half. Caicedo is tripped, down hurt, free kick for Chelsea. Not too much in that, Pat?
Nothing. That looks to give me like a clear dive. He goes in, touches the ball and then dives straight up into the air. He may have actually dived into the tackle. Have a look at it again here.
Have a little look.
Oh, no, there's a tiny little toe down. Yeah. So, look, it's not as bad as he made it sound, but
yeah,
the shin guard saved him there. But he's so high up in the air.
Oh, now there's a fan on the pitch here. Sanchez playing the ball out from his own penalty area, chased by the security stewards. Fan slips over. Idiotic behaviour. We're enjoying a really good game of FA Cup football at the moment. He's not going to be watching any more football for a while. The phone's fallen out of his pocket. I would keep that if I was Patson Daka. He's getting his phone back and now he's being led off the field, and we're going to have a brief interruption in play. Enzo Maresca is considering substitutions. Leicester's lineup at the moment: Stolarczyk in goal, Chowdhury, Fass, Vestergaard and Doyle the back four for this one. Winks and Didi, Dewsbury Hall, Fatawu, Mavididi and Daka in the 4-3-3. Sterling, pass back into his own half wasn't the best. Disasi deals with it well, and that turns into a good ball. Mudryk using his speed to his advantage on the left-hand side, tries to get the cross into the box, hits the legs of Vestergaard, and behind it goes for a corner to Chelsea. Half an hour to play. Chelsea 2, Leicester 1.
Yeah, again, Mudryk there. Hasn't had many chances, but uses his pace every time now.
Taking the corner quickly. Sterling on the ball inside the penalty area. Cross hits Mudryk. Clumsy from Chelsea. Daka, good skill. Skips his way past Gallagher. It's going to try and run the length of the field here. Cucurella desperately chasing. That was like a cartoon caper, that. Cucurella with his hair flying behind him, scrambling to get back at Daka running forward. Leicester have come back into their own half. That's a nice ball into the path of Winks. Winks just glides it forward to Dewsbury Hall. Wide it goes to Mavididi. Leicester sensing real encouragement here. Double step over. Right-footed shot. What a goal! What an unbelievable strike from Steffi Mavididi. And Chelsea have paid for their errors in this game. It's now Chelsea 2, Leicester 2. The Sterling missed penalty, the Disasi own goal. Leicester have said thank you very much, and Mavididi has done it with real quality. Bending shot. Sanchez had no chance. Chelsea 2, Leicester 2.
It's always a forward's joy, isn't it? Because Mavididi, I don't think he's got past Gusto once in this game. But you only need to go past him once if you're the forward. He gets inside him and he curls it into the back corner. Absolutely nothing Sanchez can do in that situation. But you're right, early on in the season and last season, Chelsea had many games here where they looked like the better team and they blew it. They never put it to bed. They're back in that situation again.
So change will now be made by Leicester. Leicester fans don't need to calm down. Enzo Maresca needs his side to calm down. They looked pretty much out of this tie at half-time. The remarkable Disasi own goal, these kind of things can happen, gave them hope. And Mavididi, seen him a couple of times in this game get the ball at his feet and run at defenders, but never in a position like that. He was exactly where he wanted to be. He had Gusto lined up, uses his body so cleverly, double step over and swerve, looks as if he might be about to pass the ball, and then whips the curler into the far corner. Yunus Akgun is coming on for Abdul Fatawa for Leicester. Chelsea 2, Leicester 2. After yesterday's drama at Molineux as well, Premier League against Championship, and that one finished 3-2 to commentary.
Do you know what? Psychologically, this is tough for Chelsea, for those Chelsea players out there. Remember, they should be miles ahead by now. They've had so much of the playing. and they just haven't finished it off, and it's been almost lazy sometimes. But now they're in a fight, they're in a game against a team whose tails are completely up.
Real test of Chelsea's mental fortitude. Gusto's been brilliant. Forward to Jackson. That's not a good ball beyond Sterling. Jackson might get another chance. Makes a tackle with his right foot, and Vestergaard is able to play it away. Atgoon, first thing he does is get on the ball, and he's fouled by Cucurella. Another goal in the WSL. Hamish Marshall.
Brighton 0, Manchester City 4. Mary Fowler, the provider. She laid it back to Laura Coombs, who fired home from 12 yards out. 2 more goals in the last 10 minutes, and City will go top of the WSL. Brighton 0, Manchester City 4.
Tottenham leading Leicester 1-0 early stages in the WSL. Chelsea have won the ball inside the Leicester half. Sterling bringing it forward, works it onto his right foot, edge of the box, passes it to Palmer. His curling efforts just past the post and goes behind for the goal kick. He couldn't quite do a Mavididi, but as soon as he got it, you knew he was going to try it, and it's come off for him so many times this season.
Yeah, I think you expected actually to be on target there, but didn't quite get to them. But time and again they get themselves into really, really good positions, Chelsea, because Chowdhury's playing full-back. He's doing that thing where the full-back goes into the midfield. Problem is, it leaves a massive gap for Chelsea to run into. That system, that little tweak is not working for them.
Leicester go with the short goal kick. Nicholas Jackson apparently encroaching into the penalty area there, so they have to do it again. Stolarczyk plays out again. Jackson nearly caught him in possession. Mavididi turns, first time ball into the Chelsea half. Dacta has pace, chases, Sanchez off his line quickly and clears. Vestergaard intercepts inside his own half, and Callum Doyle gets onto the ball for Leicester. Forward to Dewsbury Hall. 25 minutes to play. Chelsea 2, Leicester 2. Extra time and penalties if required to settle this FA Cup quarter-final. This game is wide open. Sterling again moving forward. Chowdhury knocks Sterling over. Play continues though. Jackson, edge of the Leicester box. Mudryk plays it to Sterling with his right foot. Closed down by Vestergaard. Mudryk's volley across the face of goal goes behind for the goal kick. West Ham Villa underway in the Premier League. What's the latest? Sahel Sahi.
10 minutes played here. West Ham 0, Aston Villa 0. Just settling down here, Alistair, but West Ham, they've edged possession and they're creating a few more chances than Aston Villa at present. They've started much better than last weekend, but it's West Ham 0, Aston Villa 0.
Commentary of that game over on Radio 5 Sports Extra. Once we're done here, whatever time that is, in the remainder of West Ham Villa will also be on 5 Live. Manchester United Liverpool kicks off in about an hour and 20 minutes. John Murray and Michael Brown will be watching that one for us and will bring us the updates throughout 5 Live Sport. And 6:06, which follows at 5 o'clock. Gusto under pressure from Mavididi. Gusto gets out of trouble and Mavididi stupidly pulls him back. He's going nowhere there, Gusto. Yellow card for Mavididi.
Absolutely daft, because you know there's plenty of players in front of him. He's not running into a dangerous area. It's obviously, even in an FA Cup day, a yellow card. But quite impressed with the way Leicester have changed it. They've left 3 players up the park every time. Mavididi, Daka and Atgoon. They're just not going back. They're going to stay up. They're going to try and win this game.
Yeah, they've done just that. Gallagher's lost the ball to Daka. Bundles his way through a challenge. Oh, Dewsbury Hall's overhit the pass. Mavididi was racing onto that on the edge of the box. Just a little over-eager there, Dewsbury Hall. It's gone behind for a goal kick.
Just since Atgoon's come on, it's actually given more options now, because he's pulling really far wide there. It's stretching that Chelsea defence. And what it's doing is leaving a little bit more space in the midfield for Dewsbury Hall, who's got more involved in the game now. And by the way, that noise you hear is the shout shoot every single time Disasi gets the ball.
Oh dear, poor old Disasi. Nicholas Jackson battling hard for the cause inside the Chelsea half. Leicester all over Chelsea in their own half. Pat has spotted the change and it's having an effect this time though. Foul on Gallagher, free kick for Chelsea. Full times in the WSL. Liverpool 3, West Ham 1, Manchester United 2, Bristol City 0.
If you were Chelsea now, it's 2-2. Your season is basically now hanging by a thread. And you've got Conor Gallagher, who has been fairly anonymous in this game, yeah. He's not suited to that position, sitting midfield. Absolutely not suited to that position. If they do make a change, my big temptation would be to move him a bit forward and give him a little bit more chance to cause problems to that defence of Leicester City.
Well, he was the man, of course, who scored the late winner against Leeds in the last round here. Chelsea involved in the thrill of that night. They beat Leeds by 3-2, being pushed by the Championship leaders, Leicester at the moment. Chelsea 2, Leicester 2. Sterling on the ball on the right. Low cross into the penalty area. Cleared away by Ndidi for Leicester, out for a throw-in to Chelsea. Gusto takes it, throws it back. Skiddy one into the path of Disasi, who's inside the Leicester half. Gusto was making the run. Gallagher thought about the pass, just lays it off to Disasi. He whips the cross into the penalty area. Mudryk trying to bring it down, off balance, falls over. Vestergaard sticks out a long left leg to get the clearance away. Little measured pass from midfield there is slightly overhit and goes out from the right boot of Harry Winks for a throw-in to Chelsea on the right. Just over 20 minutes to play. Chelsea 2, Leicester 2.
Well, 20 minutes and less.
Exactly.
Extra time.
Good enough on that back pass. Daka was nearly onto it. Chelsea looking a little nervy on the ball in their own half. Six Nations highlights, by the way, forgot to mention that. 6 o'clock, BBC 2 tonight. All the highlights from the final games, all played yesterday. Rugby Union Daily podcast available to listen to on the BBC Sounds app. Football Daily as well, which will round up all today's football action for you. Chukwuemeka getting ready to come on for Chelsea in this cup tie. Caicedo, edge of his own penalty area. Passes to Chalobah, across to Cucurella on the left. Low ball down the line to Mudryk, lays it back to Cucurella, up towards Jackson, stretching, can't get a touch on it to knock it into the path of Sterling, and it comes back to Stolarczyk.
Do you know, Leicester fans, they know this can go either way now. There's nothing between the teams at this point in time. There's a long period of this game that Chelsea look miles ahead. They don't know.
No, Leicester in again on the left-hand side. Dewsbury Hall racing to the Chelsea box. Cross comes in, came at real pace. Gallagher got a touch on it. The ball goes ballooning out of the Chelsea penalty area. Vass knocks it into the shins of Mudryk. That ran to Sterling. Leicester could be in a spot of bother now. Forward to Jackson. Lovely touch from Jackson. Takes him away from Vestergaard. Through into the penalty area. He's knocked over. Penalty surely. Or is it outside the box? No, it's a penalty. Now surely Cole Palmer is going to take this penalty for Chelsea. Yellow card for the challenge from Doyle. The VAR will obviously have a look at it. 2-2, but at the moment, as things stand on the field, referee Andy Madley's given a penalty.
Yeah, it was really tight as to whether it was, outside the box. It looks as if it's just about on the line. If it's on the line, then it's a penalty kick. However, let's take first things first. What about the touch from Jackson to get through anyway? They were getting a slow.
Does he actually get a touch on Jackson's foot? I think the touch
it's outside.
I think it's outside, Pat.
I agree.
I think the touch on his left heel is just out. Oh no, does he trip himself up, Jackson? Is there no touch from Doyle?
Does he touch his heel? This just shows you. This is when VAR is good.
Yes. No, he's tripped himself up. I don't think Doyle's touched him.
I think you could be right.
I've got a feeling this might not be a penalty.
But have a look at even the arm. No, to be honest, if this is a penalty,
yes,
I would. If I'm a Leicester fan, I'd be absolutely fuming.
Okay.
I'd be absolutely fuming.
To be a clear and obvious error for the decision to be overturned.
Don't overturn. Ask the referee to go and look at it. Just ask him to go and look at it. That's all you need to do.
Yeah.
Ask him to look at it.
Yes, because
he can make a decision.
Andy Madley chasing right behind the action.
Do you know what? I think they've given it. They're giving it as a foul, but they're checking to see if it's outside just now.
Okay.
So this is where the VAR rules aren't quite right. Look, referee, go and have a look. I mean, the first touch is well outside the box.
Yeah.
There's not even a doubt about that. But if it's a touch, they've slowed it down here as if there's a touch. It's not clear from what we can see.
Free kick.
Is that going to be a red?
Yellow card rescinded. Oh no, yellow card changed to red card. You're right. Denial of a goal-scoring opportunity. So, giving with one hand and taking away with the other. Leicester are down to 10 men. They don't face a penalty, but now they're a man down for the rest of the game, and a game that could go into extra time. So Callum Doyle did make contact with Nicholas Jackson just outside the penalty area. Jackson then tripped himself up inside the box. That's why it's not a penalty. That's why it's a red card. And Pat, you're right. That's why we've got VAR.
Because we've got the right decision now. And it was very hard to see. You needed all the angles of it. They've got more angles than we've getting shown here. It kind of looks as if it was on the line or just outside. There's no way you could do it at match speed. It's tough on Doyle, it has to be said. He wasn't trying to foul him in any way at all. But if he has clipped him and they can see the tiniest of clips, he has to go. That's the rules.
Permission to ask a stupid question.
Go on.
What would Leicester prefer, facing the penalty or down to 10 men for the rest of the game?
That's not a stupid question in any way whatsoever. Do you know what? If it was a league game, you might take the 10. That cup game with the next thing that's going to be extra time with 10 men, I don't know, I think you'd take the penalty because Chelsea have already missed one.
Free kick for Chelsea, right on the very edge of the Leicester penalty area. Callum Doyle, the 20-year-old on loan from Manchester City, sent off for the challenge on Jackson, and Rob Notham has just spotted that Raheem Sterling and Cole Palmer are in conversation again about who might strike this ball, although this one is slightly different because it is not 12 yards from goal and there's a whole Leicester wall in the way. Palmer is about 2 steps from the ball. Sterling's got a good long run at this, and it's whether, I mean, they could try and do the little dink, the curling ball to the far post. Trying to get it up and down from there, Pat, is nigh impossible.
That's really tough to get that, but you've got to make sure it's on target. If a wall does its job, it does its job.
Yeah. Could go for the low one. Draft excluders in there. Can't see who that is lying down, facing his own goal for Leicester. 4-man wall in front of him. And James Justin's come on as well, by the way. Steffi Mavadidi, who scored that brilliant equaliser for Leicester, has gone off. 15 minutes to go. What a cup tie. Chelsea 2, Leicester 2. And let's see what Chelsea can conjure up with the free kick. My money's on Palmer to hit this. Let's see. He's much closer to the ball. Central position. Sterling making a long run at the ball. Drives it with his right foot. It's awful. Miles over the bar. Sliced miles wide. Very nearly in the second tier of the Matthew Harding stand. And actually now, Pat, rather unkindly, the Chelsea fans are getting on Sterling's back. That was terrible.
You say unkindly, but you'd have to say unsurprisingly. I mean, everybody's looking at Cole Palmer thinking you're great from those situations. I mean, it's absolutely beyond awful. That's actually worse than the penalty.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah,
it's so high, wide, and in no way handsome. I think they've done a kind of close-up with somebody in the 17th row there. Who's ducked to get out of the way.
Well, also, just Chelsea fans just shaking their heads. And look, players can have bad days, and Raheem Sterling is definitely having one of those days at the moment. Chelsea 2, Leicester 2. Leicester down to 10 men. Hope you're enjoying it with us on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Full commentary continues on West Ham Villa over on Radio 5 Sports Extra. Palmer's ball here.
By the way, I have to get in quickly.
Yes.
Would you put it past Sterling to score the winner today? I wouldn't.
OK, I'll tell you what I will say. Not from the penalty spot.
No chance.
Although this could end up in a penalty shootout.
But would you let him take one? The kind of game he's had today. Apart from that one moment, he has created what
he has, Pat. I know. And we're not laughing at misfortune, because this can happen to players, and I'm sure he's feeling terrible inside. One of those days for Sterling. Fans not happy. James Justin on for Leicester. Good run down the left-hand side. Fresh legs. Caicedo sticks with him. Gusto steps in, wins it. Little back heel to himself and plays the ball to Caicedo. Championship team Coventry already in the semi-finals. Can Leicester join them in the semi-finals? Last time we had 2 championship teams in the FA Cup semi-finals, 2014, Wigan and Sheffield United. Chelsea 2, Leicester 2. Throw in for Leicester on the right. We'll see what they can do with this, and then we'll take you back to Brighton against Manchester City. Manchester City winning that game comfortably in the WSL. Actually, Leicester making a change. Let's do it now. Hamish Marshall.
It's a consolation goal for Brighton. Gwynnon Lee from close range. She's pulled a goal back. 2 minutes of added time to play. It's Brighton 1, Manchester City 4.
I think we've got time to get to the London Stadium as well. West Ham Villa in the Premier League. Sohail Sahi.
We played 21 minutes. West Ham 0, Aston Villa 0. Chances for both sides. Watkins first for Villa. It was a good save by Areola's legs, and then Morgan Rogers with the freedom in midfield. He tested Areola, and then Souček with a flick just wide for West Ham. West Ham 0, Aston Villa 0.
Wilfred and Didi coming off for Leicester, and I'm going to use the prefix here. 5 Live's Connor Cody. Coming on into the cup tie. Could have a big role to play in this game. Chelsea 2, Leicester 2. Go on, Pat.
Well, Chelsea are going to make a substitution. Who is going to come off for Chelsea?
Carney Chukwuemeka is waiting to come on.
Interesting to see what happens.
What are you thinking, Pat?
I mean, to be honest, you should keep all your forwards on. You've got an extra man. Leicester have just brought a bunch of defenders on. And that's not going down particularly well.
Mykhailo Mudryk. I think that's a really difficult one. I understand the reaction of the Chelsea fans, but Mauricio Pochettino knows the reaction that Sterling is going to get if he comes off. He could bring him off after the 90 minutes if it goes into extra time, and then it happens slightly less sort of publicly, I guess.
But it's not us being harsh.
No.
Everybody around here saying the same thing and thinking the same thing.
You don't know what you're doing.
And you've got to... In the end, that might be a kindness to Raheem Sterling, but in reality it's not. It's not helping him. It's turning everybody against him there, it's also turning against the manager.
Exactly, Pat. Yeah, I wasn't saying to Maurizio Pochettino, you don't know what you're doing. I was repeating the chant around the stadium. Pochettino stands out on the edge of the technical area, defiant, arms crossed, but the applause is not for the Chelsea manager, it is for Mykhailo Mudryk, getting a standing ovation from the East Stand as he makes his way off the field, and Raheem Sterling stays on. You might be right, but I think Sterling still has a say, you know.
Yeah, I do. It's been so pivotal to so much that's happened here. And it might just be a tap-in. They've got an extra man. They will create chances. Just get yourself in the box, Raheem, and make it up.
Let's see. Here he is then. Edge of the box towards Gallagher. Got the ball from Chukwuemeka. Comes to Caicedo. It'll be interesting to see the next time Sterling touches the ball. He's lurking at the far post at the moment. Chelsea have it wide on the right. Gusto just teasing James Justin, dancing in front of the ball. The ball didn't move. Justin didn't move either. Gallagher onto it for Chelsea. 10 minutes away, just over from extra time here. Chelsea 2, Leicester 2. Brilliant FA Cup tie. Brought to you on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Caicedo looking for the 1-2 with Gallagher. Dewsbury Hall in to intercept. Dewsbury Hall receives it again. Starts a run from out of his own half. Seems to have endless supplies of energy. Left-footed ball across the Chelsea half. Hits the chest of Cucurella. Falls to Daka. Akgün, the Turk, on loan from Galatasaray, just tried to flick a ball into Daka. That was intercepted on the edge of the box. Now it runs to Sterling. There you go. Chelsea fans don't like it. Good ball from Sterling though to Chukwuemeka. Chukwuemeka slides him into the path. Cole Palmer just tackled as he tried to hit the shot by Vestergaard. Winks steams in, brings it away for Leicester.
You've got to say, first of all, well done, Enzo Maresca. He's changed the system now. They've got 5 at the back, 3 centre-backs now, 2 wing-backs. It's going to be hard to break that down if you are Chelsea. So time and again, they're getting into good positions again now, but they're running into a blue wall back there. Very, very clever. Leicester fans a wee bit more impressed with their manager than Chelsea fans are with theirs.
Absolutely. Pat Nevin with us at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 2, Leicester 2. West Ham 0, Villa 0 in the Premier League. Cole Palmer, long way out, hits the shot. Couple of deflections. Hits Vestergaard in the face. Eventually runs to James Justin. Dewsbury Hall, tackled by Gusto. Snapped into the challenge. Chukwuemeka on the turn. Up to the edge of the Leicester box. Not quite sure what to do. Little pass into the feet of Gusto. Chukwuemeka's tackle. It runs to Palmer. Palmer with defenders on him. Spins and shoots. It's blocked. And Dewsbury Hall, it runs to him, but he tries to dribble out of trouble from left back. Caicedo makes the challenge, and it eventually goes out for a Chelsea throw. Chelsea fans on their feet again, forgotten about booing the manager and Sterling for now. Want their team to win this cup tie in the 90.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, and every time the ball goes to Sterling now, you wonder if he's going to get booed. I mean, it is harsh. He just had a bad day at the office.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't tell the manager to keep him on, although he did demand to take the penalty when he shouldn't have.
And created the second goal for Cole Palmer as well. Good run, headed it down to himself. That ball is looking for Sterling from forward. Jackson leaps in the air. Goalkeeper Stolarczyk was coming. Justin heads it back to him. Full time in the WSL. Brighton, Manchester City. Hamish Marshall.
4-1 win for Manchester City. They cruise to the victory. It means they're level on points with leaders Chelsea. Only an inferior goal difference of 2 keeps them off top spot with 6 games left. Brighton 1, Manchester City 4.
Match of the day 2 tonight, 10:30 BBC One. FA Cup highlights follow, 5 to 11 on BBC One. FA Cup highlights as ever available via the BBC Sports website and app. This one well worth watching. Chelsea 2, Leicester 2. And we might have another 30 minutes to come, and maybe a penalty shootout to decide it in the end. FA Cup semi-final draw later on. Fass plays it across to Chowdhury for Leicester. Oh, Fass has lost it, edge of his box. Jackson to Chukwuemeka inside the Leicester area. Vestergaard's in to intercept. Little flick clearance lands at the feet of Sterling. He's tackled. Cucurella's there. Cucurella, little 1-2 with Gallagher. Cucurella has to scamper back to go and get onto Gallagher's pass, gives it to Gallagher, laid off to Chukwuemeka, back to Sterling, corner of the penalty area. Sterling, nice ball to Chukwuemeka, right-footed curler just underneath it, across the face of goal kick for Leicester.
And you can see the tiredness in the Leicester players just now. That mistake by was that Faes tries to play it out from the back there, but there's no players in front of them that are able to make a position for them. They're getting swamped a little bit in that midfield area. Still, there's not been any great chances for Chelsea since Leicester have gone down to the 10 men, so they'll be happy with that, but they're trying to kill every moment, aren't they? They're taking the time the goal kicks, they're taking the time the keeper.
Yeah, worth reminding you of that if you have just tuned in here at Stamford Bridge. Leicester down to 10 men. Callum Doyle sent off. Denial of a goal-scoring opportunity for a trip on Nicholas Jackson. Initially given as a penalty on the field. The challenge was outside the box. So the yellow card got changed to the red card. Gusto's cross into the area, headed away by Conor Cody, right in the middle of the Leicester defence now. Ball is wide with Jackson on the right. Couldn't do much with that. Tackled by Justin. Throw in for Chelsea. Gusto takes it. All hands to the pump at the back. Conor Cody is organising in there. Here's Jackson. Little 1-2 with Gallagher. Intercepted by Dewsbury Hall on the edge of his own box. Great runner with the ball, Dewsbury Hall. Holds off Gallagher. Can't find Daka. Ball forward by Caicedo. Cole Palmer couldn't control on the stretch. Disasi forward to win the header. Gusto controls. Dancing feet gets him out of a spot of bother. Floated pass from Gallagher using Gusto again. Dummies the first time cross, controls it. Gallagher's in good space there, able to control it with his left foot. Gallagher's cross deflected. Leicester haven't got it away just yet. Falls to Palmer. One touch on the edge of the box. Dummied shot back onto the left foot. Hits it hard. Fast turns his back and blocks, and it spins out to the left. Here's Sterling. Kicks that ball in play. Fast is down. Tell you what, Pat, quickly to the London Stadium. There's been a goal. West Ham Villa. Sahel Sahi.
West Ham have taken the lead. They lead Aston Villa by a goal to nil. Coming after 29 minutes. A cross from the right-hand side from Vladimir Soufal, and a wonderful diving header from Mikel Antonio. It was a throwback to the good old days of diving headers. What a finish from Mikel Antonio. West Ham 1, Aston Villa 0.
Talking about diving headers yesterday, Keith Houch in 1987 and all that. Coventry in the FA Cup semi-final draw later on. Stoppage in play here. Wout Faes is down. Noni Madueke is ready to come on for Chelsea, and we're waiting to see whether that is going to be for Raheem Sterling. Now, is that change going to be made, or are we going to have to wait for the treatment to be administered to Wout Faes? Because I just want to hang on here. I know John Murray's got the team news at Old Trafford, but we need to see the reaction, and there we are, it's Sterling. And that does get cheers and applause from the Chelsea fans, disappointingly for Raheem Sterling. Loud boos now ring around Stamford Bridge as Sterling does the right thing. He keeps his head up, he marches off, he applauds the Chelsea fans. He knows he hasn't had his best game. Took a terrible penalty in the first half, took it off Cole Palmer and missed it. Woeful free kick in the second half, just hasn't been at his best. And now there's applause for Madueke coming on. He'll have better days, Pat.
He will, and you know, can have to players, but the Chelsea fans are getting very, very frustrated with him there. But on the other hand, as he was walking off, because he showed the respect to applaud the Chelsea fans, they applauded him back.
Yeah,
so
good point.
Keep that in mind, that yeah, they were annoyed with him, but hey, he showed the respect to them in that moment, accepting it, and you know, the relationship hasn't been irrevocably damaged.
That is a great point, Pat, and the whole story there told through applause, nothing more than applause, basically. Remarkable. 4 minutes left of this game, heading towards extra time. Chelsea 2, Leicester 2, West Ham leading Aston Villa by a goal to nil. And when we get the next break in play, John Murray, I know, is waiting at Old Trafford to bring us the team news of the big one in the FA Cup quarter-finals, Manchester United against Liverpool. Here's Gusto, left-footed cross from the right towards the far post. Bit of wrestling inside the Leicester penalty area, but it goes behind. The cross drifts long and goes behind for a Leicester goal kick. So let's bring in John Murray with the team news.
And the main news is for Manchester United, their top scorer Rasmus Højlund is fit to start for the Cup quarter-final. Wan-Bissaka's also back in the team, but it's Casemiro and Evans who are absent, so they are the two Manchester United changes from the last weekend when they played. Also, Mason Mount is a substitute after his 4 months out, and Harry Maguire also a substitute as he comes back from injury. For Liverpool, still no Konate, not involved, but 3 changes from the Europa League. Diaz, McAllister and Van Dijk back in the team. Gakpo, Bradley and Clark are all on the bench, as is Gravenberch, another one coming back from injury.
Thanks, John. Yeah, kicks off in just under an hour's time. John has Michael Brown for company, and those two will provide the updates on that game throughout the afternoon on 5 Live Sport. We're with you through until 5 o'clock when Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage take over. Phone in tonight, 606 as ever, 08085 909 693 is the number to dial. There will be plenty calling in about this game. No idea which way it's going to go. Chatting about Raheem Sterling, actually, I'm sure, on the phone in tonight as well. Maybe if you're a Chelsea fan here, you can give your thoughts on that. Gusto's done brilliantly to take the ball off Dewsbury Hall. Now brings it in field, 30 yards out, looking for Palmer. Couldn't get the pass through to him. Dewsbury Hall plays back to Justin. Justin's got no one to pass to there. Knocks it into space, and Disasi is onto the ball. Ticking over into the 89th minute of the game. Chelsea against Leeds in the last round won it very late with a goal from Conor Gallagher.
Also against Newcastle in the the other cup, they've won the late ones. They've had very, very good draws, a lot of home draws in the cups this season, Chelsea. They should be through already in this one, but they're not.
Conor Gallagher on the ball, 25 yards out, decided against the shot. Wide it goes to Gusto, low cross in, shot from Madueke, and Leicester get it away. Stolarczyk did well, he must have seen that late, got a hand on it, it went loose in the 6-yard box, and the Leicester defenders reacted quickly. Chowdhury was in, knocks it behind for a corner.
It's got everything, this game, hasn't it? Lots of stories going on in the game, but also it's sending-offs, penalties missed, lots of goals, stupid mistakes. It's got everything just now, and there's more to come.
That's the point, the Disasi own goal that started it all in the second half. Palmer's corner into the near post, doesn't quite beat Daka. Daka heads it away, high spinning ball, Dewsbury Hall underneath it. 90th minute of the game. FA Cup quarter-final, cross in from Madueke into the far post. Chowdhury heads it away, Kukureya's there. Chelsea have a man here to the left. Jackson's ball into the box, fast stooping header. Chukwuemeka just in the D on the edge of the area, central position. Across it comes to Madueke, unmistakable with the black headband. Gusto on the right, low cross comes in, might go loose inside the box. Jackson leans back, puts it over the bar. That was the chance to win the tie, and he couldn't take it.
He's only about 10 yards out there. It is bouncing, you've got to give him that, but you're right, he's leaning back, and that's fatal. If you lean back and try and have a lash at it, it's going to go miles over the bar, and that's exactly what it did. Good to see Chilwell coming back, getting himself fit as well.
Yeah, Ben Chilwell, I think I'm right in saying he's been named in that England squad for the upcoming friendlies, although has missed a bit of football recently for Chelsea. Kukureya gets a standing ovation. First goal for the club today, early in the first half. But now we are at Chelsea 2, Leicester 2, and it is added time at the end of the game. Extra time follows if they can't be separated. I was sitting at Molineux yesterday. Wolves were leading Coventry by 2-1, and Coventry scored in the 97th and the 100th minutes of the game, and we've got 8 minutes here. 8 minutes of added time.
Yeah, there was a lot. There was the VAR, there been a couple of injuries, there's been a lot of substitutions, so 8 minutes.
We're happy, aren't we, Pat?
I'm happy. I don't think the Leicester City players will be delighted because they're exhausted.
Chalobah, brave diving header there. Daka went in with his foot. Chalobah won the header. Leicester play it to the left. Gusto is there. Everything he's done today, absolutely spot on from Gusto. Holds off Justin. Chelsea work it out to the right. Madueke, happy to play it back to Gusto. We were making the point at the start of the game. 20 years old, Pat, Gusto. 20 years old. Plays way above his years. Here come Chelsea down the left. The pass is behind Chilwell, has to hit the brakes. Low cross into the box, fast clears first time, and away it goes up towards the halfway line.
We're talking about all the stories. Remember Cucurella was the one that the Boo Boys were all going. Yeah. That's another story today. He actually scored his first goal.
Jackson back to Chukwuemeka into the penalty. Palmer, brilliant flip. Chukwuemeka may just have won it for Chelsea, but that was created by the genius of Cole Palmer. The little backheel flick into Chukwuemeka's path. He runs onto it. He slides it under the keeper, and Chelsea may just have won another cup tie late on. Chelsea 3, Leicester 2.
But you're right, the genius is Palmer, brilliantly done. But the willingness to run, and if you know that he's got that in him, that he can go and see that sort of pass that's behind him, you will make runs. Chukwuemeka did that. That might be a little bit of a stamp to the heart of Raheem Sterling, the man to come on to replace him. But he's made the decision, he's come on, he scored. The referee's taking his time to look at it. I couldn't see anything wrong with that at all. Beautiful.
The touch from Palmer, you've got to see that tonight. FA Cup highlights, 5-11, BBC One. Just going to watch it on the big screens above us. Fans, Chelsea fans in the East Stand, just seeing that. It is so cheeky from Palmer. He knows Chukwuemeka is continuing that run. 2 defenders behind him, and just with his left foot behind his right, he just cushions the ball on his heel. It's the perfect pace as well, Pat.
It's a lovely, lovely feeling when you get that right, because you have to take everything into account. You know, where everyone's running, you're not looking behind you where it's going, you've checked everything out before you do it. And the defenders, there is nothing you can do about it.
Here's my question for you, right, given the season that Cole Palmer has had, it's quite difficult to find a way into an England starting 11, particularly in the front line at the moment, given the form that the likes of Saka and Foden and Bellingham and Kane are in. Got to get Palmer in, surely, as well, haven't you?
Do you know what? It's not all about the starting 11 all the time.
No, that's a good point. Palmer's ball forward for Jackson this time. Jackson chases down the right. Stolarczyk beats into it. Yes, you're right, Pat. Can come off the bench.
Yeah, no, there's games where, you know, any of those players could be having a quiet game. I mean, Foden's been amazing, but it'd be the odd quiet game. Okay, what quality of Palmer to bring on. The embarrassment of riches that England have got in that forward creative area is incredible, considering that used to be the area that was the problem.
Yeah.
And it is definitely not now.
Standout players again for Chelsea today. 20-year-old Malo Gusto, 21-year-old Cole Palmer. And when they do things like that, they've been maddeningly inconsistent, Chelsea, so far this season. 12 defeats in all competitions, but the youth and the talent and the promise is there, Pat.
Yeah, and again, it's that kind of putting games to bed, that old cliche, being able to do that. Not doing stupid things like giving that penalty, missing the penalty by making a bad decision. The moment of madness from Disasi, switching off now and again. They've done it too often, but that's what youngsters do. So that's why I've always felt that it wasn't going to be last season. It wasn't even going to be this season. You really start judging this Chelsea team by next season, because 21-22, hey, it doesn't matter, you've had 2 or 3 years at it.
4 minutes left in the game. Leicester have the ball wide on the left, attacking position. They want a handball. Winks cross was blocked by Caicedo. Chelsea are going to be very dangerous on the counter now. Madueke plays it to the elegant runner Cole Palmer on the right. Palmer looks up, sees acres of space for Chilwell to run onto this pass. Switched from right to left very quickly. Chukwuemeka looking like the match winner, gets it back from Gallagher. Lovely touch from him. Chukwuemeka laid off to Palmer. Palmer's shot well blocked, and the ball's just flicked away by Winks. Dewsbury Hall all on his own, trying to make an advance forward down the left-hand side, doing really well here just to hold on to possession, eventually wait for support from Justin, and back it comes in the end to Conor Cody.
But it's very hard there, because you're a man down. If you go man-to-man at the back, you've not got the pace to really do that. They've held Chelsea at bay to some degree since they went down to 10 men apart from that one goal, but they need to do anything. They need to put some sort of pressure on. They're trying to leave players up, but at the moment it looks unlikely, doesn't it?
Chelsea 3, Leicester 2. Chelsea did it to Leeds in the last round, and it looks like they've done it to Leicester here, but then Wolves thought they'd done it to Coventry yesterday. Oh, Cole Palmer, genius to turn Conor Cody, and Conor Cody, all he can do there is try and cling on to his coattails, quite literally, to drag him back. Takes the yellow card, concedes the free kick. Palmer was at full stretch there, but brought the ball under control and turned his man at the same time.
He is a joy to watch. It's the languid way he moves, the complete control he has in the ball. That turn is outrageous, because he looked as if he was miles off balance, still manages to throw a cross turn and get away from Cody, and you're right, he just grabs him and said, I can't live with that.
Yeah, once enough time has passed and we've got Conor Cody on another commentary, I might just ask him about that moment, but I wouldn't do it immediately post-match today, I don't think. 2 minutes left in the game. What a game it's been. Sun is shining at Stamford Bridge. Cole Palmer tries the shot from the free kick, it hits the wall, comes back to Palmer, and he plays it back to Disasi, who's going to be a very relieved man. His crazy own goal at the start of the second half got Leicester back into the tie. Chilwell's in behind the Leicester defence on the left, chips the ball up, Chowdhury's in, heads it behind, corner for Chelsea. But all the football, Pat, late in this game is actually in Leicester's half now.
As it would be, because Chelsea they've got the extra man. They're making it pay quite well. They've kept a lot of forwards on the field, and they've risen the pace as well. They had to raise the pace slightly, especially after that equaliser. But without being absolutely brilliant in the second half, they have been deserving of the win with the chances and the amount of ball that they've had. But Leicester have battled, haven't they?
Chilwell decides to try and put a low ball into the penalty area. He's given the ball to Leicester with a minute to play, so I'm not quite sure what Mauricio Pochettino will make of that. He's had quite an afternoon, booed by his own fans for not taking Raheem Sterling off early enough, in their opinion. Sterling initially booed off when he was taken off, then he applauded the Chelsea fans, and they applauded him for that response. Just clear my throat, just in case we get more drama at the end of the game. Madueke, oh, good skills, good strength, curling shot! What a way to finish the cup tie! Brilliant goal from Noni Madueke, initially to hold on to the ball, to hold off the challenges, to work it onto his left foot. He's curled an absolute peach into the top corner. We won't forget this quarter-final for a while. Chelsea have won it. They've beaten Leicester by 4 goals to 2.
There's a great argument that's the best goal of the game so far. When the substitutes have come on, and what a difference they've made. Chukwuemeka scoring, and Madueke there. He gets it on his left foot, he's under pressure, but he holds on to it, he's very strong, and he whips it with his left foot into the far post and smiles all around, and you hear that kind of almost an in the background there as the Chelsea fans see this goal coming in there. He has got great skills, but he's taken 3 players out of the game there and curled it beautifully into the corner. There is only one person in blue. The inside is not smiling just now.
Yeah.
And that's Raheem Sterling.
Yeah, that's true, Pat.
And it must be hard because...
But for the team and for the younger players, you've still got to try and
do that, and he'll show that on the outside. But you're a footballer, you want to be in a team. And if you're Madueke, you're just saying, I should be in this team now.
It's all over. That was the coup de grace. The pièce de resistance. Brilliant goal from Noni Madueke. Another one you've got to check out on the highlights tonight. One of the touches in there, it was like the Oscar Bob goal late at Newcastle, whipping the ball from right foot to left foot, back onto the left foot, whipping the shot into the top corner. Pat, I'm not even going to try and tell the whole story of the game because we can't do that. All I'm going to say is Chelsea looked incredibly comfortable at half-time. Disasi's own goal gave Leicester hope, and the game just absolutely took off from there. And Leicester, actually, to their credit, played some of that with 10 men and gave a heck of an account of themselves.
It would have been very intriguing if they'd have stayed with 11 men for the rest of the game, because they were in the ascendancy at that point in time. But, you know, it was a great piece of play. Well, there were lots of great pieces of play, but by Jackson to get through 1-on-1, and that's why they went down to 10 men. So Chelsea have found a way to get through, and they've done that all the way through the cup competitions. They got to the final of the Carabao Cup. They're now pushing their way through to the semi-final of the FA Cup. They've had good draws on the way. They've done it in a very unusual way, but you do it in the FA Cup. Well, it's the FA Cup. You get things like that, and you'll be royally entertained.
Chelsea have appeared in 5 of the last 7 finals. Can they make it 6 in 8? They've lost their last 6 major domestic finals. They are in the draw. They're in the semi-final draw later on. What entertainment at Stamford Bridge. Leicester fans, to their credit, on their feet, applauding their team. Raheem Sterling is out there with his Chelsea teammates, enjoying the celebrations. That's a whole nother story to tell. Maurizio Pochettino booed by his own fans. A hugely relieved man. This is all Chelsea have to play for at the end of this season. His face is wreathed in smiles. And we'll unpick it all throughout the afternoon and in the Football Daily podcast, available on the BBC Sounds app later on. Take a breath now. Chelsea 4, Leicester 2, Chelsea into the semi-finals.
We'll do our best, Pat Nevin. What a game. I mean, there was booing, there was brilliance, parts of it were bizarre. That was Chelsea 2023-24 in 90 minutes, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Honestly, it's pure theatre. It's pure cinema. It's just madness. It's up and down. You don't know where you stand. You try. I mean, at the start of the game, Chelsea looked 3-4 now. Easy. Right, cruise. No problems. This should be an easy, quiet afternoon. And then they typically shoot themselves in the foot yet again. I mean, but really spectacularly this time with Disasi. Then there was a missed penalty. The storyline of Sterling, even before he missed his penalty, he wasn't having a good day. And when the entire stadium, it's not just, you know, a commentator's been maybe having to be harsh on you, a co-commentator, sorry Alistair, but he was having a stinker. He really wasn't having a good day at all. His decision making was awful, and he was, I mean, when he took that free kick near the end, which almost made it into the second tier of the Matthew Harding stand, it was almost difficult to do it. And the entire crowd turned on him. I mean, that can be an incredible moment, but you know, the reaction to that was interesting, because then Chelsea made the changes, and then they come on and score goals. Both come on and score goals. Madueke, his was an absolute cracker, and Chukwuemeka's not a bad goal, but once again, Cole Palmer in the middle of it, extra special. You don't know what to make of Chelsea, and maybe that's a good thing, because see the opposition, they ain't got a clue what to make of them either.
It's a real sour note, the way Sterling was treated, wasn't it? I mean, there are all kinds of, you know, people can boo and all that kind of thing. Completely understand it. You can boo a team if you're not happy. I get that. But booing an individual player for having a bad game, it's not great, is it?
Okay, I have to be brutally honest with you. I talked to some Chelsea fans at half-time, and they all were talking about Raheem. And they're saying, this isn't unusual. He's had other games like this. It does happen. They're getting a bit fed up with it, right? So you have to keep that in mind as well, that the Chelsea fans are watching this every week.
Yeah.
So, you know, but, you know, when he's walking off, and you have to keep this, you know, he's having a bad game, are they booing him at this point in time? Or rather booing the manager, saying, well, you've got to get him off. It's not working. Get him off the pitch just now. Let Madueke on. Let Chukwuemeka on. And then when he walks off, they were booing him, and that's out of order, probably that, because you have to get behind your players. but because he respectfully did the right thing, even when he's getting a hard time, applauded around the ground, it changed in a heartbeat. The Chelsea fans went, right, okay, you've had a bad one, and they applauded him off. So, in the end, he got to the right result with Raheem, and let's just hope it doesn't knock his confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a bit of booing, and then there was some booing of the booing, and then some applause, so it was all kind of wrapped up together. What about Leicester, Pat? Because apart from the last couple of minutes, when obviously Madueke scores that amazing goal, for them it's partially about getting back on track and a performance that will allow them to go back into the league feeling more confident. Do you think they did enough today to get that?
Partially, maybe in the second half more than the first half. I'd say 25 minutes, 30 minutes didn't really look like that. I mean, they looked as if they were miles off it. Certainly pace-wise, against a Premier League team like Chelsea, looked as if they could get destroyed at any moment in time. However, as the game went on, they didn't fall out of it. And when they were, when they were throwing a bone, they had a chew in it. That's exactly what they did. And when they got better and better as the game went on, a number of players like Mavidiri, I was watching him and I was thinking, you're making a lot of mistakes, mate. You're not covering where you should be covering. Gusto's running off you. It looks bad. But then the second time he goes and scores an absolute cracker. So yeah, maybe some of the younger players have to learn a little bit more. If they do get up to the Premier League, they'll learn quickly, or they'll have to learn quickly. But by the end of the game, the likes of Dewsbury Hall, he's fine. Winks, he's fine. And Didi, to a degree, he's fine as well. Quite impressed by Adgun when he came on. So yeah, if they manage to stay in it, it's not an absolute stick-on. They're going to go up even though they're top of the league. But they can go back into this, campaign now and think, yeah, we stood by a Premiership team and looked okay. So it'll be good with that. I tell you one little whisper in the background, although they won't own up to it. The last thing they wanted was extra time. When you're at the end of the season, when you're beginning to fail a little bit and lose the odd game, you don't need to be 10 men against a top team for 120 minutes then go out. That actually can destroy you. Didn't happen today. They can walk away with their heads up, held up high.
Absolutely. Belter of a game. Chelsea 4, Leicester 2. Pat, Ali, thank you both very much indeed. So Chelsea are into the draw for the FA Cup semi-final.